looking at Bob at Tulsky Field on a hot August night. It is a rematch of a game played last November, a regional matchup between Knox and Marion in week 2 of the season on the 46th game of the week. And how you doing, everybody? 6 feet away from my Hall of Fame partners, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby, and it's great to have you with us wherever you may be. There's something old, but still something new at Knox this year because they have an old coach in Russ Radke, who's been coaching for 44 years, as their new boss. Radke is a North Judson alum and legend. This is the equivalent of Coach K going to Carolina. And yet Bob Nagel, as he goes into Knox, he has a veteran squad to work with and one with plenty of talent.
He does. He has enough quality talent to be competitive, and from week 1 to week 2, they're going to make a major stride. Plus, he has a couple more athletes able to play tonight that weren't able to play last week because when school started, they obviously hadn't been to practice for a while. But the thing about Russ Radke, he's such a good teacher, and he's found some patience that maybe he wouldn't have had at New Prairie last year because he expected a lot from a senior quarterback. But he's been patient. He's working with these guys. Zach Rose is a good leader, and so he's very happy with the way things are going.
And moments ago, we talked with the Knox head coach about what to expect tonight.
Well, we played real good last week. It was a great game, and it came down to they had the ball last and beat us, okay? Kind of like what happened last week when Marion beat Mishawaka. You know, the last team had the ball. Tonight is going to be a test to kind of see how well we are, matching a program up that's been here for years, you know, and how well they run their offenses and defenses. You know, we don't have the great athletes of all time, but I think we do have some guys that can really excel if they stay together.
Marion is the second-ranked team in the state of Indiana in Class 3A. They are 1-0 after an exciting 44-43 win over Mishawaka last week. And Bob, the 44 shows they're good on offense. The 43 shows they got work to do on defense.
No. That means that Mishawaka's really good on offense, too. What a game that was last week. But Michael Davidson was really focused on not getting overly excited about what happened. Number 2 in the polls doesn't matter until the last poll anyway. But he's got some great leaders, and I tell you what, Begonia Bright is a terrific young man and leads his team. And it gives them that 2 dimension. They can run and they can throw. That was real important last week, and it went over Mishawaka.
And Michael Davidson expects a challenge from Knox tonight.
Yeah, we're excited to face a good Knox team. We've had a couple of battles with them in the last few years, and we know we're going to have our hands full tonight. They got a well-run program with Coach Radke. They're going to come hungry, and we got to bring our best out here to come away with a victory.
Bo Hunt returns to the sidelines tonight. And Bo, we mentioned this is a rematch of last year's regional. In that game, Marion handled Knox. In fact, they've eliminated the Redskins 3 of the last 4 years. So Marion has confidence, but Knox has a chip on its shoulder tonight.
Yeah, they definitely do. And when you talk about that chip that they have on their shoulder, is it enough to really overcome and get that victory? Well, they brought in Russ Radke because of that chip. And that's one of the things he does. He comes into a program and he makes everybody buy him, not just the team parents, but the whole community buys in. And you'll see night in and night out, if we didn't have, social distancing night, that side would be packed tonight with the community coming up and supporting his team. So yes, they definitely have a chip on their shoulder.
There are a lot of people in northern Indiana excited about this matchup tonight. In fact, the only 2 that might not be are the defensive coordinators. We've got a lot to talk about on the Jordan Automotive Keys to Win, and that's next on the 46th Game of the Week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Intera Credit Union, Bills Heating, Jordan Automotive Group, TCU, Aegis Dental Group, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Jordan Auto Group. Simple, easy, and stress-free. Welcome back to Tulsky Field on the campus of Marion High School. We get you ready for Knox and Marion tonight. Time now to look at our keys to win. Brought to you by the aforementioned Jordan Auto Group. For the Knox Redskins, they're led by their quarterback, Zach Rose, 6'3", 175-pound senior who threw for 202 yards and a touchdown and ran for 89 yards last week. So a multi-dimensional quarterback. And defensively, their big tackler is Gabe Lovins, the 6', 200-pound senior. He's a linebacker, used to be a running back, said, I didn't like that so much, I didn't get to hit as many people. Well, he does now. Keys to win for Russ Radke's Redskins.
Number one, they got to create yardage on special teams. A lot of times that doesn't go reported, but it makes a big difference tonight. They got to match the intensity of the Marion Knights, and they got to keep that chip on their shoulders. They've never beaten Marion. Russ Radke comes in with 368 wins and 44 seasons as a head coach.
As we get ready to look at the keys to win, Knox has won the toss and deferred, so Marion will receive down at the west end of the field. The key players for the Marion Knights will start with their quarterback, Maddox Begonia, another multi-dimensional quarterback. Maddox Begonia Bright last week scored 6 touchdowns, threw for 4, 277 yards passing, ran for 2, 87 yards rushing. He can do it all on the field, but he doesn't have to do it alone. He's got a big fella up front named Trace Walters, 6'5", 243 pounds, and a senior. He is the rock on both that offensive and defensive line. The keys to win for Mike Davidson's Knights.
Well, number one, they want to improve defensively. They gave up 43 points last week. It was to Mishawaka, but they want to limit that. And they also want to limit their turnovers tonight. And they want to continue to make the big plays that they made last week in that big win. Michael Davidson now in his 3rd season at Marion, a record of 21 up and 7 down.
We're just about ready for kickoff. Knox will be kicking off with a very small breeze behind them. Cody Wyringa does the kicking for the Redskins.
And the Knox Redskins in their white jerseys, blue pants, and white helmets. And Marion in their blue jerseys, blue pants, and white helmets. The teams look great tonight, and St. Andrews Products can do the same for your team. Reach them at sales@standrewscorp.com.
So Wyringa is ready to go, and so are we. Our first quarter brought to us by Christensen Furniture. And wherever you're watching, thanks for watching high school football on TV 46. Greg Atkinson makes a running catch at his own 19 and cuts to the sidelines. Atkinson finally piled under at the 32-yard line as the stop is made by Gunnar Wagner. So Maddox Begonia Bright and that Marion offense with Brett Badek as the offensive coordinator get ready to take the field. Boy, Begonia Bright coming off a terrific year in 2019 where he threw for 20 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions, 1,252 yards passing, and he seemed to pick up where he left off last week. He'll have Malcolm Anderson as the lone back. We'll look at that Marion lineup after our first down play. Jason Johnson flanked to the bottom of your screen. And wide splits along that offensive line. It's Atkinson. They fake the end around. Begonia Bright will keep it himself. And look at that long, lean body go up for about 9 yards on first down. Let's meet that Marion offense. We told you about Begonia Bright. Anderson, the leading rusher in the backfield. All the receivers are dangerous, but Johnson had the big week last week. We told you about Trace Walter on that offensive line. But 2 guys, Jack Brennan and Mitchell Menting, are new to the offensive line this week. Back on second down, and we've got a flag thrown and a whistle blown, and that'll allow us to meet our officiating crew tonight, headed up by Dan Adams. He's joined by Greg Caldwell, Eric Mills, Travis Stevens, and Chris Vaughter, and it is a procedural penalty against the Knights that'll cost them 5.
Cost them 5, but they got about 8 on first down, so not an awful situation, but eliminating mistakes after an early start last week is going to be very important for both teams.
So let's see if Marion can overcome this mistake on this opening drive. We'll meet the Knox defense here after the second down play. You'll see a lot of 4 receiver formations for the Knights tonight, but they give it to Malcolm Anderson, and he's tripped up in the backfield. A beautiful tackle that time by Braxton Keller, the middle linebacker, who was an all-Hoosier North Athletic Conference selection a year ago. In fact, let's meet that Knox defense. Led up front by the seniors Collins and Clemens, along with Messer. The linebacking core, all seniors. Lovin's the leading tackler last week. The secondary had its problems last week. They gave up 350 yards passing, but Reese Keaton and company will try to tighten it up tonight. And a passing situation here on 3rd and 7. Begonia Bright looks, has time, and throws, finding Atkinson for the first down, but he lost the football, and Knox has it at its own 49. Braxton Geller with the recovery after the strip by Zach Rose.
Let me go back to those keys to win, Chuck. Eliminate turnovers.
Atkinson seeing his first action of the season And Rose playing defense here gets a great strip on Atkinson, and Geller falls right on the football. Knox with great field position to start their first drive of the night with Rose at quarterback.
Let's see if the Redskins try to strike quickly after the turnover, kind of a gift.
Gunnar Wagner, the lone back in the backfield next to Rose, but as you see, it's one of those double wing formations for this Russ Radke offense. And it's Gunnar Wagner with a lot of blocking off the left side, going forward for almost 5 yards on the first down carry. Wagner last week the leading carrier among the running backs with 54 yards. Let's look at that Knox offense. Peyton Baugh, also a starter typically in that backfield. The receivers are both all Hoosier North selections last year, Short and McIntyre. The offensive line has just one senior, Audie Rodriguez. You don't see a lot of guards who are sprinters and hurdlers on the track team, but Audie is.
Real good athlete.
On second down, Wagner again, and this time Marion able to get to him in the backfield. Good pursuit by Gavin Stefanik, who makes the tackle. So Stefanik on the tackle that time, and he leads this Marion defense, which sees Kyle Dennison get the start at defensive tackle tonight. Mitchell Menting, a strong defensive end back. The secondary is pretty good with Atkinson and Lusanga at the corners. And Knox looking at a third down, and we'll call it 6, although the scoreboard says 4. Well, it's going to change now anyway because a flag thrown for procedure on the Redskins.
Folks, for over 60 years, industry has relied on the great team at Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT is the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. The medical, automotive, and defense and aerospace challenges have built our legacy. Reach us at iftworldwide.com. At IFT, we'll work until you're finished correctly.
The sunset on Russ Radke's face, but he does not say that he's at the sunset of his career. He says he still enjoys coaching and wants to continue to do it as long as the fire is there and his wife makes him leave the house.
A lot of truth in that.
3rd and 11. Rose from the shotgun. 2 receivers out wide. Rose will scramble away from pressure. Fire, and he's got his man down at the 35-yard line, but it's incomplete. A short hop catch out there by Gunnar Wagner, so it'll be 4th down in a punting situation. You'll get another look at that from the Aegis Dental Group, and watch on the replay here. The ball caroms right off the hands of Wagner. Put in a good place by Rose.
Really was, and Chuck, I'll tell you what, the defense from Marion got to talk about that one. He was wide open.
So Keenan Collins comes on as the punter tonight after Peyton Baugh did the honors last week.
Keenan Collins on to punt for Knox.
Line of scrimmage is the 48. The dangerous Greg Atkinson waits back at his own 15. Collins with a high kick that's going away from Atkinson, takes a Knox roll. Atkinson picks it up at his 16, and look at him go. He gets it all the way up to the 26-yard line, and with 9:15 to go in the first quarter, we're scoreless at Atulski Field. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. We get it because we live here too. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nickel, Bo Hunt back with you from Atulski Field. 9:15 to go first quarter. Scoreless game. Maddox Begonia Bright rolling to his right. He fires and he's got Jason Johnson, and Johnson gets all the way up to the 42-yard line before he's shoved out of bounds, and Marion has its first down of the night. Johnson had 27 catches on the year in 2019. That's already his 5th this season.
Got it out to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 15.
A lot of work done by Johnson. He'd get about 5 or 6 yards after contact that time. Begonia Bright nearly fell down. Now he laterals out to Greg Atkinson, or do they call it a forward pass and say it's incomplete? I think for Marion, there might be some good fortune there, and that's only an incomplete pass because that play had disaster written on it from the start. You'll see it here on Aegis Dental Group replay.
Begonia Bright starts 2 out of 3 for the ball game. Should have had to get 12 yards of credit on that first catch, but it was fumbled.
Looked like he may have been down there, but the officials ruled an incomplete pass, and it'll be 2nd and 10. Now Begonia Bright fires, and it's incomplete. Broken up beautifully out there on a fine defensive play by Reese Keaton.
Boy, that looked a lot like a horse collar, didn't it? But ball was incomplete.
Keaton comes over and separates the man from the ball, and yeah, that could well have been a horse collar against Keaton as he takes Kyrell Franklin down by the back of the shoulder pads. 3rd and 10. Maybe each team getting a break here on this drive. Begonia Bright steps to throw again, and down he goes. Gabe Lovins comes in and gets the sack. The senior linebacker, who was all Hoosier North a year ago, gets his first sack of the season.
11-yard loss. Boy, Lovins is impressive when we were down there at practice, Chuck. Very smart, disciplined player.
Marion has a new center in there tonight in Jack Brennan, and I think Lovins came on a delayed blitz and surprised Mr. Brennan a little bit. So Alec Markley is on to do the kicking here. It's a high snap, but Markley retrieves it and hangs a beauty out there. And the ball slips through one Knox player's hands, but right into the hands of Cade Short, who falls on it back at the 31-yard line. A break for the Redskins there. Reese Keaton tried to make the catch, came up empty, but Short was able to get right on it. You get another look from Aegis Dental Group.
About 50 yards on that kick. Boy, that's, if your backup's doing that, he's not going to be a backup very long.
Well, he was the backup to Hunter Renner, but it doesn't mean that he's truly a backup, because Renner, who's in the house tonight, will be doing punting at Northwestern whenever the Wildcats in the Big Ten get their act together. 1st and 10 for Knox at its own 31. They give it to Cade Short on the end around, and he gets leveled. My, oh my, what a hit that time. As coming in and making the hit was Setefano Seti. And Seti, the 5'11 junior, wearing 62 tonight because he's got to play some offensive line, just lowered the boom on Mr. Short.
Let's say you get back to the line of scrimmage.
Seti normally wears 34. But because he has to play offensive line tonight, they've changed up his number. Rose could be changing the play here at the line of scrimmage. This is something that Russ Radke was working on with him this week. Rose fires and has his man. That's awfully close to the first down stick. They'll spot it down at the 39-yard line as Cole McIntyre makes the catch, his 6th of the season. You get another look. It looked like McIntyre had this ball past first down yardage and was pushed back about 2 yards, but the side judge comes in and spots it at the 39.
I agree with you, Chuck. I thought that was real close, maybe close enough for measurement.
Instead, Knox looking at a 3rd and 2 right here. Almost to the midway point of quarter number 1.
Rose has good presence back there, has good sight of the entire field.
Marion coming on a blitz, and they didn't get there. Gunnar Wagner's got the first down, sponsored by CB Custom Painting, all the way to his own 45. Marion put 10 in the box that time, even brought a blitzer, but it still wasn't enough to stop Wagner, as you see from the Aegis Dental Group.
Wagner gives Knox their first down of the ball game.
Braxton Geller with a good lead block to lead him through, and it's 1st and 10 at the Redskin 45. Take a look at Michael Davidson down on the sideline, the 3rd-year head coach of these Marion Knights. Man in motion, high snap, and flags. Boy, disaster written all over this one. And the tackle made by Michael Murphy in the backfield, but we'll see what the call is.
Boy, a lot of timing messed up there by that high snap. Folks, we want to tell you the TV 46 High School Game of the Week is being brought to you by Vorpal Gaming in Knox. Go Redskins! Vorpal Gaming is your local hobby game store and your stop for Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, and Kings of War. That is the good friends wishing you well from Vorpal Gaming in Knox.
So no flag now thrown on the play after the officials discuss it. The play will stand. It got back to the line of scrimmage.
No flag on the play.
And apparently it'll be 2nd and 10, although the down marker has not changed over on the far side. So maybe they said no play at all since here's a fake by Rose, and it's all going to be moot now because Zach Rose is off to the races. Greg Atkinson, the only guy that can get him, and he did, stopping him just short of the goal line at the 1. Well, they'll actually spot it all the way back at the 3. You get another look on the Aegis Dental replay. Atkinson knew he had to take an angle. Rose is fleet of foot, and he did step out of bounds at the 3, a good call.
Gain of 53 yards on the play and another first down.
Rose, a 3-sport athlete, and now they stack that backfield with Gunnar Wagner, the trail of the trio. Wagner gets bowled under for a loss of 3 as Trace Walter comes barreling through from the defensive tackle spot.
Pretty good read there by the Marion Knights.
Walter, a 3-sport athlete. He's also a shot putter and a wrestler, and he came like he was a sprinter that time.
Saw a key. You know, the coaches look at tape and they say, no, this guy is the key on this play or that play. Boy, that run back there by Rose, Chuck, reminds me of a quarterback that might have been at New Prairie last year.
He also wore number 5,
yes,
Mr. Ketterer, now at the University of Notre Dame as a walk-on. 2nd and goal from the 6. Wagner in motion, got back to the 5, and that's it. Mitchell Menting in there on the stop that time. And that'll make it 3rd and goal.
Gain of 1.
Menting also wearing a different number tonight because he has to play some offensive line.
Big opportunity here for both teams. If Knox can get on the board on the road, that would be great. If Marion can get a stop.
Wouldn't be surprised if Russ Radke winds up burning a timeout right here to get his team all set up for this key 3rd down play. Knox is bleeding the clock down, and they'll get it down to the 1 second mark and take the timeout. We'll keep it right here with 4:08 to go first quarter.
Folks, at St. Andrews Products, your expectations become our standards. We have the highest promotional products, advertising specialties, business gifts, and apparel. Our team handles all embroidery and screen printing in-house to guarantee the quality of the work and a timely turnaround to meet your needs. At St. Andrews Products, our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
Well, you saw Zach Rose go on that 53-yard scamper moments ago. That's nothing new for him. Last week in their game against Southwood, also nicknamed the Knights, by the way, 291 total yards and 3 touchdowns, and a Rose by any other name still would smell that sweet with those kind of numbers.
I kind of thought we'd have that little line pop out sometime tonight. Boy, Rose is just a terrific kid. I mean, he came in, he lost a head coach who he really loved and respected, and yet really embraced Russ Radke and what he wants to teach. And he knew what they did at New Prairie, knew how they ran the football with the quarterback being the main cog, and I think he's really embraced it and done a great job.
Well, you'll get a chance to meet him at halftime as one of our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. You also had a chance to hear from him this week on our 46 Sports Twitter and Facebook accounts. I know some of you are watching the game tonight on Facebook. We want to thank the Patrick Auto Group as our live stream sponsor tonight. And we're also pleased to be part of the IHSA Champions Network tonight. Glad we could make that affiliation this year so people around the state can check in on this game. 4:08 to go first quarter. Knox and Marion are scoreless. The Redskins looking at a 3rd and goal from the Marion 4-yard line. Rose has McIntyre one-on-one way past the left side of your screen. And Rose is going to try to run right and runs right into the end zone for a Redskin touchdown. Zach Rose with his first rushing touchdown of the year, and Knox has taken the lead. You get another look from the Aegis Dental Group at the blocking on the right side of that line that made the way for Rose. And Trevor Bussey, the junior guard, with a good block to help spring him. So Cody Wyringa will come on to try the extra point.
Cody Warenga on to try the extra point for Knox.
3:54 on that possession for Knox. It went 69 yards for the touchdown.
The snap is good. The kick by Waringa is blocked by Greg Atkinson. So Atkinson comes roaring around from the end to block the extra point. But Zach Rose has put the Knox Redskins on top, and they lead it 6-0 with 4:04 to go first quarter.
TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Jack and Diane's USA Cafe across from the courthouse in Knox. Go Redskins! Check out 50-cent Taco Tuesdays, Wednesday wings and shrimp, and all-you-can-eat fish on Friday at Jack and Diane's USA Cafe. Check, I'll be right back.
I don't blame you. Sounds great. Well, we had a very enjoyable visit down to Knox this week, and boy, Russ Radke extolling the virtues of the community. They need to hire him in the Stark County Chamber of Commerce because it was all he could do not to tell us more about the great industrial park they've built over there and the way the community is growing and trying to bounce back economically after having some tough times.
Yeah, he's really proud of the effort that he's getting from the parents and the whole community, and it really is a changing town in Knox, and got some nice industrial park areas. They've got some beautiful parks, and the facilities they have at Knox High School. They got a new locker room, they got a new weight room, and they're making a commitment to these young people.
Cody Waringa about to kick it off. Atkinson and Taylor back deep, high spinning kick. Atkinson will let it bounce and field it at the 17. Atkinson looking for running room, and there wasn't any there as Reese Keaton comes up and makes the tackle at the 28. So good special teams coverage by the Redskins, and that was a focus at practice this week as well.
Well, so many things to work on after your first game, and you know, Coach Radke was obviously disappointed to some degree to drop that game to Southwood, but saw a lot of good things, and he said, you know, it had more to do with us than maybe it did with Southwood, so they want to clean things up and eliminate turnovers and mistakes, and so far it's going well. They're up 6-0 over the second-ranked Marion Knights.
Maddox Begonia Bright at quarterback. Malcolm Anderson, his running back. Caleb Lusanga lines up at the wing. It's Begonia Bright rolling, throwing, and connecting with Davian Taylor, and Taylor is met right away as Dominic Lovins, the sophomore strong safety, comes over to make the hit after a pickup of only about a yard.
Begonia's pass to Davion Taylor, complete.
Taylor with his fourth grab of the year. That matches his entire total from 2019. But Marion had a very good receiver by the name of Mitchell Florin depart.
Yes, they did.
And Taylor filling that role this year. Now it's Begonia Bright pitching to Malcolm Anderson. He's got room to run on the outside. Anderson still on his feet, has a first down and more as he gets shoved out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A pickup of 16 for the Marion running back.
Malcolm Anderson with a 15-yard run.
You get another look from Aegis Dental Group. And Marion really trying to push the flanks on this Knox defense in the early going tonight.
Trying to make reads on what Knox is trying to do. Their best defenders and tacklers are right up the middle.
Here's a handoff up the middle, and right on cue, Braxton Keller and Gabe Lovins. Good scouting by Bob Nagel there, a loss of 1.
Well,
Anderson met by Braxton Geller.
14 yards on 3 carries now for Anderson. Speaking of Anderson, Chuck, met a nice couple this week that said they'd be watching the game this week. The team of Anderson and Johnson, a couple of real fine young folks, and just want to say hello to them.
2nd and 11. Begonia Bright rolls and finds Davion Taylor again. This time a little more room to run. He finally steps out of bounds. They'll spot it at the 45. That is right at the first down spot. So depending on where the official's got his foot, he's either 1st and 10 or inches. And the official says move the chains. It's a first down. Watch Taylor again on his second grab of the night. And this time Dominic Lovins couldn't get there in time.
4 out of 6 to start the game for Begonia Bright.
Halftime score, Tippecanoe Valley with a 12-3 lead on Northfield as Knox takes a timeout, and that'll be their second here of the first quarter.
Your proud sponsor tonight, Weaver Consultants Group, located in Granger, Indiana, wants to wish the Marion Knights good luck tonight and all season. Check out Weaver Consultants Group on the web at WCARP.com. That's WCARP.com to see just how they can identify solutions to help you achieve your business needs.
First quarter at Warsaw, and Michigan City has taken a 7-0 lead. Then we've got East Noble on top of Northwood right now. That's 15-8 in the second quarter.
That's a good one. A lot of good ones tonight.
Plymouth has taken a 6-0 lead on Kokomo. That game now in the second quarter. Wawasee up on West Noble by a score of 10-0. That's in the second. So John Rudebuck may have something going down there in Syracuse. They waxed Lakeland last week. West Noble, a better team than Lakeland, but still this would be a good win for Wawasee if they can hang on.
Trying to get that community excited as well about football. They've had some great teams over the years, particularly in girls basketball, but what a great community. Good to see them on a winning track.
And Northridge now with a 21-0 lead over St. Joe, that game in the second quarter. Here it's 6-0 Knox, 2:40 to go first quarter. Knox trying to change some things up here defensively after Marion picked up a first down. Begonia Bright rolls out, steps into it, and finds a receiver, Caleb Lusanga, pickup of about 7 on the play. Lusanga getting a start in the receiving corps tonight, and that's his first catch of the year for the 5'10", 174-pounder.
46 yards passing here in the first quarter. Good start by Begonia Bright.
Boy, and a change of personality for this Marion team for many years. Reggie Glahn viewed passing as something that you only did at the dinner table.
Or in the classroom.
Michael Davidson has come in here and taken over. Now running play up the middle, and this time Malcolm Anderson, again, met by that fine middle of the Knox defense, can only pick up about 1. You know, one thing Gabe Lovins told me this week, Bob, at Knox practice was they felt like they could control the running game. The passing game is what hurt them last week against Southwood, and so far it's been the passing game that's moved the ball for Marion here tonight.
And some end sweeps. They've gotten a little bit of yardage there, but that middle for Knox is tough.
Counter play, though, and Malcolm Anderson is gone. Touchdown, Marion. So some misdirection by the Knights. They got Knox to over-pursue a little bit to the near sideline, and Anderson cut it back the other way and took it to the house. You'll get another look from Aegis Dental Group.
Boy, I tell you what, he exploded through there and had some defenders trying to pull him down, but that's a big, strong young man. Got in the end zone.
Mitchell Menting and Tommy Burke through the blocks that sprung him, and now Alec Markley on to give Marion the lead if he can convert the extra point. He was 3 for 3 last week against Mishawaka. The snap is clean. The kick is up high into the Princess City Knight, and it is good. And with 1:26 to go here in the first, it's 7-6 Marion, and you get another look at the run by Anderson. Cody Wairenga had a line on him, but by the time he held on, Anderson just gave him a pony ride into the end zone for the last 5.
Terrific run, and he's had a couple of those tonight. Folks, for more than 50 years, Holy Cross College has educated modern-day scholars, citizens, leaders, and disciples. Through our individually focused contemporary liberal arts curriculum, your experience at Holy Cross College, along with access to our tri-campus community in Notre Dame, Indiana, will lead you to a meaningful and successful life personally, spiritually, and professionally. Learn more at hcc-nd.edu.
Always happy to have the folks from Holy Cross College on board, the alma mater of Mary Freeby. So a 7-6 lead here for the Knights. Late first quarter as Alec Markley will put it on the tee. Knox sends Cage short and Gunnar Wagner back deep. Russ Radke was very proud of the way his team continued to fight back last week against Southwood. And he said it would be necessary to match scores with scores tonight. Well, here's an opportunity for the Skins. Wagner plays it on one hop at the 5. down the sidelines to the 32. Nice kickoff return for Gunnar Wagner. Another three-sport athlete at Knox, and that was another thing that Russ Radke was lauding to us, Bob. He loves multi-sport athletes. He doesn't like guys who sit around, and he really credited the athletic director at Knox, Greg Eastock, for saying, hey, there's no reason to sit on your haunches, and in the off-season, go play.
And they are busy. He's got wrestlers, he's got track and field people, baseball, basketball, building a nice spirit. And esprit de corps among those athletes. You know, when you're competing, you keep building that teamwork that it takes to be successful.
So here's Rose handing off. Gunnar Wagner up the middle. Look at him go. Wagner to the 49. A 16-yard pickup. Finally hauled down by the safety, Brady Hoskins, but a first down for CB Custom Painting. And boy, the middle of the offensive line here for Knox getting the surge right in front of Wagner. Again, it was Trevor Bussey with a key block to spring him.
40 yards rushing in this first quarter now for Wagner as we get toward the final minute. Boy, there's been a lot of big plays in this game. Some pretty good hitting. It's what we thought it would be. Good matchup between Knox and Marion.
Rose taking his time. Play clock down to 8. Rose keeps it himself this time, and he's met down by the knees and barely got it back to the line of scrimmage. Gavin Stefanik comes up and makes the hit from his linebacker position along with Michael Murphy.
4 carries tonight so far for Rose.
Nice tackles led by Michael Murphy.
Marion linebackers had a rough week last week against Mishawaka with that option attack that the Cavemen run. Hanging in there a little bit better tonight, but the one big play from Rose has really made a difference for the Knox offense.
It really has, and when you get the teams going right to left, not necessarily north and south, that's what creates the problems on both sides.
About a 2-second difference between play clock and game clock here. It's Cade Short on the end around, and Short has a first down and more. Short all the way down to the Marion 25. Another first down sponsored by CB Custom Painting. So some terrific offensive action here in the first quarter at Atulski Field. Both teams getting on the board. Zach Rose doing the trick for Knox. Malcolm Anderson for Marion. 7-6 Marion after 1 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week brought to you in part by Bill's Heating. Keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. We go downstairs for a Bill's Heating sideline report. Here's Bo Hunt.
Was Russ Radke's offense is very similar to what he did at New Prairie out there. And I think one of the things that we wanted to see and kind of feel out was, how are they going to adapt to this new offense? How are they going to run it? Well, I'm telling you right now, it looks pretty smooth. It looks pretty much exactly like what we've seen when he met New Prairie and how Chase Ketterer ran the ball with this offense as well. But I think one of the biggest things from week 1 to week 2 right now is just Knox's ability to look the part out there on offense and really be smooth with this offense, guys.
I agree, Bo. It's a much different Knox team than we saw a couple of years ago when we broadcast the sectional game between Knox and Marion. And quite frankly, the offense moving better than they did at any time against Marion in the regional last year too, Bob.
We had 2 nice drives in that first quarter. The Knox Redskins went 69 yards in 8 plays. Marion for their touchdown, 7 plays, 72 yards.
Knox looking at a 1st and 10 from the Marion 25 to start the second stanza. Gunnar Wagner takes the handoff. Trace Walter takes Gunnar Wagner to the ground.
Down goes Wagner.
Walter is a big man.
And folks, the TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you by Patrick Auto Group. Have a great season, Redskins. Buy here, pay here. Buying, servicing, and detailing, all available at Patrick Auto Group. Check out Patrick Auto Group on Facebook or on US 35 North, just outside of the city of Knox.
They're a live stream sponsor tonight, so we thank the Patrick Auto Group for that. If you're in the Knox area, stop on by and tell them thanks. Rose bobbled the snap, then throws, and just got it into his man. Cole McIntyre using that big 6'5" body to protect the ball from Greg Atkinson. and he picks up about 7 on the play. You'll see a on-the-spot throw here by Rose, who is a pitcher on the Knox baseball team, and he hit the strike zone there.
7 yards. Atkinson with the hit.
3rd and 3 here for Knox. Rose working from the gun. Gunnar Wagner off to his left. And it's Wagner, and he is again met by the interior of that Marion defense. This time Drew Geiger comes in and makes the hit from defensive end. Geiger, who put on 20 pounds in the offseason, uses some of that added strength here, and it'll set up a 4th and 5 for Knox.
Got to go quickly.
Drew Geiger with the hit for the Knights.
Knox wasting little time trying to draw Marion offside here. Rose looking to the sideline, still 10 on the play clock. Knox has 1 timeout left, so Rose might want to get with it here. Down to 2, he got the snap off. Rose looks to throw, chase from behind, and down he goes. Stefanik comes in and eliminates the drive by Knox. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 28. Rose was looking for one receiver, couldn't find him. And then Geiger couldn't get there, but Stefanik did.
6-yard loss. It'll go as a sack for the Marion Knights.
Marion will take over. First down from their own 27.
1 sack for each team so far in the ball game.
So Marion will break the huddle from the sideline, looking at a 1st and 10 from their own 27. Scoring on their last possession on a long run by Malcolm Anderson. It's Caleb Lusanga in the backfield right now, next to Mannix Begonia Bright. Begonia Bright on play action, hit by Cody Wieringa, got rid of it, and Greg Atkinson has space. Look out. Atkinson bobbing and weaving his way up to the 37-yard line. Well, that's one of the things that makes Begonia Bright so dangerous. This was very similar to the 2-point conversion play last week against Mishawaka, where the Cavemen thought they had him wrapped up, and then he found Kyrell Franklin in the back of the end zone for 2. Knox had 3 guys around him, but he uses that tall body to get the ball out to Atkinson for 9.
Gain of 9 sets up a free down of sorts here. Let's see what Marion wants to do on 2nd and 1.
Begonia Bright changing the play at the line of scrimmage here. Kyrell Franklin checking his little wrist card, so you wonder if it might go to him. And now Brett Badick decides a timeout is necessary with 8:56 to go in the first half. And Marion leading Knox 7-6 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Aegis Dental Group, trusted dentistry. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, Bo Hunt back with you at Tulski Field. The Knox defense trying to find a way to stop Marion here as the Knights lead at 7-6 early in the second quarter. 8:56 to go first half.
After the Marion timeout, 2nd down and 1.
2nd and 1. Begonia Bright from the shotgun. Play action, fires too high and almost picked off by Reese Keaton. He was looking for Kyrell Franklin, but overthrew.
Looking for that quick post pattern and just a little bit high.
Reese Keaton on the breakup.
As long as you don't make a turnover on this play, there's nothing harmed. But one of the questions on Maddox Begonia Bright, and I thought you saw it there, his arm doesn't always come over the top. He's got a bit of a funky throwing motion, and that time it cost him a little bit.
6 out of 9 to start the ball game.
Now Begonia Bright runs it, and he's got a first down and a lot more. Gets to the outside. It's a foot race, and they're not going to get him. Maddox Begonia Bright, 63 yards for the touchdown. So Maddox Begonia Bright, the dual dimension quarterback for the Marion Knights, takes this one 63 yards to the house. You get another look from Aegis Dental Group as Bright tight-roped it down the sidelines and then escaped Cody Wyringa right there to take it in. Alec Markley on to try the extra point. The snap is clean, the kick is up, and it is good. And with 8:40 to go first half, Marion expands the lead to 14-6. Bob, we get another look at the replay from Aegis Dental Group.
Well, one of the things that Russ Radke was concerned about, the assignment. They came up the middle with their strength. They were looking to get a stop. Begonia took it outside, and all of a sudden the guys that were making stops up the middle are in chase mode, and they just couldn't catch him. And Begonia's a terrific athlete. Did a nice job last year for Rob Berger's basketball team as well. He's a talented young man.
He hit another gear out there, too, that time, because it looked like Knox had angles on him, and all of a sudden, he was gone.
He was. Hey, we got a moment. I want to thank the original Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way. They still have all your favorites. Stop by this weekend for delicious Bonnie Burger, fries, and a shake. For over 82 years, Bonnie Doon has been part of our community. Great food and rich, creamy ice cream. Take Bonnie Doon and get a favorite for your cool treat this time of year. It's really welcome. Open this season until November 1st. Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way in Mishawaka.
Yeah, and we thank them for feeding the crew tonight. The burgers were delicious, as always, from Bonnie Doon. I'm sure they would have sent over some ice cream, but it might have melted quickly.
Still a nice place where you can drive in.
Alec Markley with the kickoff, a high spinner. That'll be taken by Short back at the 7. And Short greeted by a host of Marion jerseys up at the 21. But I want to go down to Bo Hunt for a Bills Heating sideline report. And Bo, I'm curious, your thoughts on these two quarterbacks that we've seen here tonight for the first quarter and a half. What do you think of Zach Rose and Maddox Begonia Bright?
I think they're both living up to the bill that you guys put out there earlier in the week. I think both of them look confident out there. Both of them look like they're running the offense well, on both sides. And I don't think there's any knock on either one of them. Then they're both very explosive. They both can do it on the ground and in the air. These are two very good teams, I believe, out here, guys.
14-6, Marion on top. Rose lines up in the shotgun. Short in motion, takes it on the end around. He's got some room to run. Cade Short all the way up to the 24-yard line before Hoskins makes the tackle, but that's a first down sponsored by CB Custom Painting.
Well, one thing we know about Russ Radke is if something works, he'll keep doing it. Short did a nice job right there.
13-yard pickup up to the 33-yard line. A reminder, our second quarter tonight brought to us by our friends at Christensen Furniture.
56 yards for Short. I'm sorry. Gave the credit to the wrong guy. It's 29 yards now for Short.
On 1st and 10, they fake it to Short. Rose keeps it himself and dives forward up to the 34-yard line. Rose well conditioned, as you would expect for a three-sport athlete. Member of the National Honor Society and does a good job in the classroom. That's why you'll be talking to him at halftime.
Terrific baseball player as well. He's a well-rounded athlete, doing a good job there at Knox.
He got to pitch in that Futures game this summer at Four Winds Field. That was an exciting moment for him.
It's a great format, the Futures game. I got invited to pitch in the pass game. PAST, passed, and pulled a hammy. Wait a minute, I don't have a hammy anymore.
And Russ Radke doesn't have a timeout anymore. He just used his last one with 7:20 to go in the first half. But, they're not like cell phone minutes. They don't carry over, so you might as well use them when you need them.
Might as well use them. Folks, CB Custom Painting is a proud sponsor of Marion football. They would like to wish the team good luck in tonight's game. Special shout-out goes to number 13, Maddox Begonia Bright. Go Knights from the folks at CB Custom Painting.
Well, you've got a young coach there in Michael Davidson, who wasn't even born when Russ Radke started his coaching career. And then you've got Well, graying, I wouldn't even say gray-haired, but graying Russ Radke, who is tied for second in all-time wins in Indiana high school football at 368. You see our buddy Chris Giesman down there. By God, I got Russ on winning percentage, I'll tell you that. 339. But Russ Radke with stops at North Judson, Connorsville, Griffith, and New Prairie. And now here at Knox, which is just shocking to a lot of people in his hometown of North Judson. He'll see them in week 4 of the season. There might be a little bit of fever about that game in Stark County.
You think? Oh, yeah. Would have been some fever in that originally set up game between Winnemac and Knox.
Yeah, John Hendricks, who coached at Knox last year, over at Winnemac now. Redskins looking at a 2nd and 9 here, midway through the second quarter. Wagner in motion, they give it to him. And Wagner gets tripped up as he tries to hurdle his way past the line of scrimmage. Nice play there by one of the Marion defensive backs. And it looks like it was Brady Hoskins, the safety, who came in and made the stop.
Tackled by Brady Hoskins.
Wagner now with 45 yards rushing in his first half.
Brings up 3rd down and 7.
So Knox looking at a 3rd and 7 here. Score to report, Bremen leads Washington 28-0 at the half. Rose wants to throw, has time, finds his man, Braxton Geller up to the 45-yard line. Geller with a first down, sponsored by CB Custom Painting. And Geller, who played a little bit of tight end last week and had a big 35-yard catch in their loss to Southwood, gets behind the safety here and makes a nice grab.
Down to the Marion 45-yard line.
Tell you one thing I saw in practice this week, and I'm sure it pleased the offensive coordinator, Bo Radke, was the fact that the Knox receivers run very good routes.
29 yards passing in the first half for Knox.
Short on the end around. Well, it's been working, and it works again here for a pickup of about 4 or 5 before Stefanik comes up and makes the tackle. So Cade Short, who was all conference in both football and basketball last year, having a pretty good night running the football. He ran for 48 yards last week against Southwood.
2nd down and 5. Knox.
It'll be very interesting to see how Knox does in that Hoosier North Athletic Conference this year. Of course, Pioneer, the beast of that conference for many years, but Knox gave him a heck of a game last year. And if the Redskins can stay healthy, I think they could challenge the Panthers again this year. 2nd and 6. Rose will take it himself from the shotgun, dive forward for a pickup of 2, take it inside the 40 to the 39. And the good news for Knox is this is taking time off the clock as well.
I'm going to say exactly right, partner. They would love to get down there near the end zone with about a minute and a half or so to go in this first half. And I got a feeling if they score, they'd go for 2.
Oh, I have no doubt about that at this point. It's 3rd and 4. Short has the first down and more. Cade Short up to the 26-yard line. Good open field tackle, but it doesn't stop him from getting the first down, sponsored by CB Custom Painting.
Down to the 26, gain of 13.
So Knox with an impressive drive started back at their own 20-yard line, following a Marion touchdown. And again, Russ Radke's team trying to show the resolve they showed in week 1 and answer a score with a score. Rose keeps it himself, has blockers in front. Chased down from behind, ball pops loose. Who's got it? And we have a flag on the play as well. Looks like Knox was able to pounce on the football. Chris Powell, the center, was able to go up and get it, but a holding call against Knox will bring this play back.
Wow. It's a break for the Redskins for sure. Folks, the TV 46 High School Game of the Week is being brought to you by Listing Leaders Integrity in Knox. Go Redskins! Whether you're buying or selling, contact Listing Leaders Integrity at 772-LIST, 772-LIST. Listing Leaders Integrity, changing real estate forever.
Michigan City now with a 14-7 lead on Warsaw. That game in the second quarter down at Fisher Field. Churubusco leads Lakeland 36-0 at the half. Fremont on top of your buddies over at Prairie Heights 27-0 at the half. And Adams has a 21-0 lead on Woodland in the first quarter. We'll see the Eagles again next week when they visit Riley at Jackson Field. 1st and 17 after the penalty. It's a spot infraction. Short in motion, end around again. Why not? It's been working all the time here, and it picks up another 8 yards for Knox. And you'll get another look at it here on the Aegis Dental replay. They're getting some great blocking from that offensive line to seal off that corner, Bob.
Really are, and Marion has done a good job of getting upfield and taking away the corner, but 45 yards rushing now for Short and 45 also for Wagner. Good balance.
We told you only one senior along that offensive line. Now Marion will take a timeout with 3:26 to go in the first half.
And that gives us a chance to say that Marion High School students have many opportunities to take dual credit classes. Those that count for both high school and college credit. During their 4 years at Marion, the class of 2020 earned over 4,300 credits during their 4 years, and over 90 students that had a class, they received 15 credits or more. And that is at least one college semester's worth of credits. Think of the money you're saving there. The best part is that dual credit classes being offered at no additional cost to the families. We invite you to learn more about our dual credit program by visiting our website. That's marionhs.org for more information. And go Knights from everybody at Marion High School.
Well, as Mike Davidson huddles that defense around him, Marion trying to make some improvement over what happened last week. They gave up 43 points in that win against Mishawaka. The good news for them, they got the win, and that's the most points that Marion has ever allowed in a win. The previous record, by the way, they gave up 35 against Elkhart Memorial in 1999. You know who else was on the field in that game for Marion?
Who's that?
Mike Davidson, the head coach. He was playing in that game.
I think he was an offensive guard for Marion. Safety, I think. Safety or cornerback.
So he told me over the weekend, I had the misfortune of being at both. 2nd and 8 from the 24 for the Knox Redskins, who trailed by 8 late in the first half. Cage Short in motion, and Marion may have solved the puzzle as he only picks up about 2 this time. Brady Hoskins having a good game at safety over there in run support to help make the tackle.
Going to bring up 3rd down and 8. Now that penalty's looming large here. It's going to be 3rd down and 6, actually.
Definitely in 4-down territory here for Knox as well.
Knox getting real close to 100 yards rushing in the first half.
They had very good balance with their offense last week against Southwood. We'll see what happens here. Rose puts Wagner in motion. He takes it, bouncing off tacklers, but Marion is able to come up and jam him up as Gabe Kerr comes up and makes the hit from the defensive back position. Wagner takes it to the 20-yard line, and that's going to set up Knox with a 4th and 4 here. Second time in this quarter they've been inside the Marion 25. Let's see if they can convert this one. Trips to the left of Zach Rose. But Rose looks back, throws over the head of Gunnar Wagner. It's incomplete. Pressure was coming from Gavin Stefanik, and Rose had to get rid of it and threw it too high, and Marion's defense holds again.
Had a good look. Found his target. A little too strong, a little too high. With 2:05 to go. Let's see if the Marion Knights from their own 20-yard line can mount an attack, maybe to get down in field goal range. They do have a good kicker.
See on the Intera Credit Union scoreboard, just 1 timeout left for the Knights, but they work on 2-minute drill just about every day in practice. So This will be nothing new for Maddox Begonia Bright and this offense.
6:04 on that possession for Knox with no points.
Two big running plays have made the difference tonight for Marion. A 37-yard touchdown run by Malcolm Anderson and a 63-yarder by Maddox Begonia Bright. He throws here to Greg Atkinson, and Atkinson weaves his way to the 25-yard line, pick up a 5, and you'll see the Knights go with an up-tempo approach here.
Gain of 5.
Everybody checking their wrist cards to get the play.
Cody Reagan with the stop for Knox.
Begonia Bright rolls to his right where he had 3 receivers. He throws against his body, and the catch is not made. A great attempt that time by Cairo Franklin, but he couldn't haul it in.
6 out of 10 in the first half for Begonia for 55 yards.
That's not the worst incompletion here as you get another look from Aegis Dental Group. And you'll see the ball clearly hit the ground and then bounce up.
TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Rabbit Coffee Roasting, who appreciates the community support they've received and wishes a great season for the Knox Redskins. Stop by for great fresh roasted coffee, lattes, mocha, and the best sugar cookies in town. That is the Rabbit Coffee Roasting Company.
Begonia Bright can't get away from the Knox defense. Gabe Lovins made the first contact. Trent Messer finishes him off. 4th down in a punting situation here for the Knights.
Not exactly what Michael Davidson had in mind.
So Alec Markley will now have to punt from the close to his own end zone, and let's see if Knox can make something happen here on special teams with just over a minute to go before halftime.
Marion with 111 yards rushing in this first half. Knox going to be very close to that.
High snap. Markley took his time but got it off. And the ball takes a Marion roll, and Short has to fall on it back at the 40-yard line. Short tried to field that one, but he couldn't quite come up with it. And you'll see just how close the Redskins got to this pump bomb. As I mentioned, the snap a little high, and diving in there to try to block it that time was Gunnar Kraus, but he couldn't quite get there.
He got close. Anytime you get the attention of our producer director, Dean Corswell, you know it's close.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 40 for Knox with 45.8 seconds to go before halftime. They are out of timeouts. Fumble in the backfield. It's still loose, and I think Knox was able to get on it. And the officials stopped the clock. They might be stopping it, saying that was an incompleted forward pass. Marion says they have the football. And the officials huddle together.
I'm going to try to ask the question and then either let him take it or something.
So watch again right here. Because the ball's going forward, that's an incomplete forward pass.
Wow. Nice break for Knox. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed many things in our world, but not the love, dedication, commitment the Marion High School faculty and staff have for providing a Catholic education rooted in the gospel message of Christ for each student. We invite you to learn more about how Marion students learn with humility, serve with compassion, and lead with integrity by visiting the website at marionhs.org for more information. And go Knights.
2nd and 10 for Knox at their own 40-yard line. Zach Rose hangs it up there, and it's caught. Beautiful grab along the sidelines by Cole McIntyre, his 3rd of the game, all the way down to the Marion 27. That's a 33-yard pickup for McIntyre, and Rose put it on the money against double coverage. How about that?
Pretty exciting play here late in the half. Gets Knox back in scoring territory.
McIntyre, big target, 6'5", 200-pound junior, was the leading scorer on the basketball team. Rose with the spike to stop the clock with 18 seconds left, and that gives the offense time to set up a couple of plays.
And Rose now with 62 yards passing in the first half, and I guarantee you, if they had 100 yards rushing in each half and 100 yards passing for the game. Russ Radke would think that was a pretty good balanced attack.
Family picture there for the Radkes. You had Tyler, his son, who's the principal at the middle school, on the left, and Bo, another son, on his right, Russ in the middle.
Folks, halftime report tonight will be brought to you by the Drive-In Theater Tour with Michael W. Smith, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and Mac Powell. It'll be live September 29th at the Melody Drive-In in Knox, Indiana. Get your tickets on the website at 7bright.com. That, again, is going to be at the Melody Drive-In in Knox.
2nd and 9. Rose, hands off to Wagner, halfback pass, and it is incomplete. Cade Short had to become a defensive back because Caleb Lusanga looked like he was going to have it in his hands, and Short was able to bat it away. You get another look on the Aegis Dental Group replay. The ball by Wagner underthrown.
He was getting his right arm jacked up a little bit by that Marion pressure just as he released it, so it took a little bit off of it.
3rd and 10 with 12 seconds remaining in the half. And we have an official's timeout. Apparently there's an equipment problem for one of the Marion players, Trace Walter, out there. Might have lost enough weight on this hot, humid night that he had to tighten the belt.
That's right.
On 3rd and 10, Rose to throw again. Flag on the play. That'll be a hold on Knox, and the ball is thrown away. Wouldn't be surprised if Michael Davidson goes ahead and takes the penalty here to push him back 10 yards with 6 seconds left. You'll see it here on the Aegis Dental Group replay. I mean, that's just a flat-out takedown right there by Keenan Collins.
We have only had 4 penalties here in the first half, 3 by Knox, 1 by Marion. Folks, Christensen Furniture is a local family-owned business serving Michiana since 1912. If you're looking for the perfect furniture for your home, Christensen's Furniture has everything you need for bedrooms, dining rooms, living rooms, home office, and home theater, and much more. Christensen's Furniture, where affordability meets style.
Knox has the problem of having to run a Hail Mary here against a Catholic school. We'll see if that can work. Instead, they'll just hand it off to Gunnar Wagner, and he pays a price as Marion comes up with a big hit to end the first half. And the Knights will go to the locker room with a 14-6 lead on Knox, a game that we expected to have a lot of offense in it, and it has had a lot of offense, just not a lot of scoring. So the two teams headed off to the locker room, and Bo Hunt's got a chance to corral the Marion head coach Michael Davidson with the Bills Heating sideline report. Bo, go ahead.
Coach, your adjustments for halftime.
We got to get better fits on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we've got to adjust, protect the quarterback, and make some plays.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
All right, Bo, thank you very much. Reminder, the halftime report coming up has our TCU student athletes, and it's sponsored by Awakening Events Drive-In Concert, September 29th in Knox. The Marion Knights getting a 63-yard touchdown run from Maddox Begonia Bright in the second to expand the lead to 14-6 on 46.
And welcome back to Bob Otulski Field here at Marion High School. We've got Knox against Marion tonight and a chance to honor our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. And with us from Knox High School is Zach Rose. And Zach is an outstanding athlete and a great leader on the football team, but he also loves baseball and a very busy guy at Knox High School. Zach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk about what else you're involved with at Knox. I know you're a very busy guy.
I'm in NHS. I also got my academic K, too.
You really looking toward maybe playing baseball at the next level, unless you get to be about 6'4" and 220. But you really enjoy that, and you would like to play at the next level.
Yeah, I'd like to play college and study physical therapy.
When you get to, you're so busy, when you get to time that you got to study, boy, you got to be focused on that, don't you? You really have to have priorities.
Yeah, it's always schoolwork first, and then sports are second. So
that's good. How about a shout out to the team that has helped you at home and at school?
Definitely my mom and dad, my grandparents, and my uncles too. They're really inspirational for me.
All right. Well, Zach, congratulations on the award, and best wishes for you and the rest of your career.
Thank you.
All right, that's Zach Rose from Knox High School. He's a Redskin for sure. And joining us now is Jason Johnson from Marion High School. And Jason is also a very busy guy. He's involved in football, track and field. And Jason, congratulations on getting this honor.
Thank you, thank you.
What is your priority? I know when you're, as I said, when you're very busy, you always have to have priorities, but there's a time when somebody wants to go out and have a good time after school, but you got to say, no, I got work to do.
Yeah, it's always school first. I put my family before sports, but it's always sports is close up after that.
You have an interesting idea about your next step, and that is to study electrical engineering at the next level.
Yeah, my grandpa, he always worked in that field, and I've always been around him. And it just really caught my attention. I really wanted to get into it.
Now, if you touch electrical wires, you're supposed to wet your fingers. Oh, never mind. That's an old line. Talk about the people that have helped you be successful.
My mom and my dad, definitely. All of my family in Mississippi, Indy, Vegas, all of that, just always being there for me, help me out through the way.
I know Mississippi is usually pretty warm. We got a warm one today, but not quite like Mississippi, is it?
Nah, not quite.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the award, and good luck to you and the rest of your career.
Thank you.
All right, Jason Johnson from Marion High School and Zach Rose from Knox High School, our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. We're back with some halftime stats and highlights in just a moment. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years. Halftime on a muggy night at Tulski Field in Marion, where the home team leads Knox by a count of 14-6 at the intermission. Chuck and Bob high above the fray. Partner, your thoughts on that first half?
Well, we had some big plays by the Marion Knights. We had some intestinal fortitude by the Knox Redskins. They did some good things. They found a way to run outside, and then they got some things loose inside. But I think Russ Radke's got to be pretty happy. His team's down by 8 points to the number 2 team in the state. Now, they did some things they were successful with in the first half, and Russ Radke has always shown us if it worked in the first half, we'll run it in the second half. So we'll have to wait and see. But Marion has also made some nice adjustments, and it's just one turnover in the first half. It was a well-played half.
Well, if you joined us late, here's how it got to be this way at Tulski Field tonight. It was Marion that struck first. In the first quarter, Zach Rose breaks loose for a 53-yard run to take it inside the Marion 5-yard line. A couple of plays later, Rose would do the damage again, this time from 4 yards out. But the extra point was blocked by Greg Atkinson. 6-0 Knox at this point. The Knights would answer still in the first quarter. A little counterplay here with Malcolm Anderson getting a great block up front and going 37 yards to the house. The extra point here was good, and it's 7-6 Marion. Then on a 3rd and 1 play in the second quarter, Maddox Begonia Bright breaks loose and races 63 yards for the touchdown. And that was the scoring of the first half. Marion on top of Knox 14-6. And Bob, a look at the halftime numbers shows this one is about as even as it is on the scoreboard.
Well, Knox is leading in total yards, but they also led huge numbers in time of possession. So actually, yardage per play was a little bit less than Marion. Marion got the 2 big plays. They also had a couple of sacks. Knox got in there and took them down. That takes away from some of the positive yardage. 9 first downs for Knox, 6 for Marion. 1 turnover, that was Marion after a completed pass. It was stripped away, but the time of possession is just amazing. 16 plus for Knox, 7 plus for Marion. And what does that say? Does the Marion offense have a little more rest than Knox? Well, they let them play both ways, so it doesn't make any difference.
Well, Michael Davidson felt like big plays would be key for his offense tonight, and they have been so far. And they have Marion on top of Knox, 14-6. For those of you watching on TV 46, second half play-by-play comes your way after this. For those of you watching on the internet, stick around. We've got scores from other games in Northern Indiana right after this. Friends, this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Crown Trophy, nationally known and locally owned. We wrap up our Awakening Events Drive-In Concert Halftime Report. That'll be September 29th in Knox with the Bills Heating Sideline Report. We go downstairs to Bo Hutt. Bo, Knox gets the ball to start the second half. What kind of adjustments do you expect from the Redskins?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to Russ Radke. I was too busy eating some Bonnie Dunes that left over, back in the truck. But no, some of the adjustments were, sustaining drives. I think that's the biggest thing. Twice they got down almost to the 20 both times and went for it on fourth down and weren't able to convert. But other than that, they've been able to move the ball up and down the field. But once they get close to that red zone, they haven't been able to capitalize and get those scores. But they've been able to move the ball for sure, guys.
Look, I'm no offensive coordinator, but when I see a 6'5" receiver like Cole McIntyre, I'd think about trying a fade pattern down there in the end zone.
I think we may see that in the second half. And something else we're seeing tonight, partner? One of your favorite things this
Bob,
time of year.
I've been waiting all year to tell you there's a big old possum hunting moon in the sky tonight.
Yeah, baby.
It'll be full by Wednesday. That's what we call the corn moon.
Corn moon.
This time of year.
All right.
And then next month, come October, that's your harvest moon.
All right. Well, we've got a second half action coming up here, and the Marion Knights with a 14-6 lead over the Knox Redskins. Marion trying to stay unbeaten against Knox in their history, and here to call the second half of a terrific game, my partner, Chuck Freeby.
Alec Markley on the approach. Third quarter brought to us by our friends at Christensen Furniture. Markley sends this one out of bounds, so good field position for Knox to start this opening drive of the second half. Zach Rose put up some nice numbers running the ball, had a little more difficulty throwing it.
Yeah, he threw for 62, ran for 63, so pretty solid night for Rose. And Chuck, we were doing the math, a lot of time possession favoring Knox, and the number of plays, they had 34 plays, Marion had 23, but both teams about the same. Knox averaged 8 yards a play, Marion 7.4. So we've got ourselves a good ball game. Chuck, that one drive that Knox had in the first half, 11 plays over 6 minutes and no points. That's a big missed opportunity for the Redskins.
Bob mentioned the balance for Rose individually, and that mirrors the balanced approach that the Redskins had last week in the loss to Southwood, where they came up with 420 total yards. They'll send short in motion on the end around, and you see right away Marion read that play much better, and they're able to trip up Cade Short after a pickup of only 2 on the play.
He's got 49 yards rushing in the ball game. Folks, CB Custom Painting is a proud sponsor of Marion football. Would like to wish the team good luck tonight and all season long. Special shout out goes to number 13, Maddox Begonia Bright, which rhymes with Knights, by the way. So they say go Knights, folks from CB Custom Painting.
So CB Custom Painting, our Marion first down sponsor tonight. I apologize for my confusion in the first half. Zach Rose. Now I'm really confused. Zach Rose on the carry there for a pickup of about 3. Takes it up and makes it 3rd and 5.
Zach Rose with the keeper.
Rose now having himself a pretty good night. He's got 66 yards rushing.
So big 3rd down call here for Knox. One of the keys for Michael Davidson this week. He said we've got to be able to get off the field on 3rd down. And they do it here as they bang into Cade Short for a loss of 2 in the backfield. Great job by the Marion defense that time, and they're able to stop Knox on its first possession of the second half and force a punting situation here for the Redskins. And Michael Davidson fired up for his defense for the job that they did against Knox on that possession.
I'm sure there were some keys that they talked about at halftime, and they came out and executed really well.
Keenan Collins did a nice job on his first punt of the night, but you always have to be wary with a punt returner like Greg Atkinson back deep.
They've got a couple of gunners on their team and a couple of gunners to cover this punt on the outside. We'll see if they get there first.
Knox with a bad snap. Collins can't get rid of it. Marion will take over on downs inside the 30. There was all kinds of confusion on the Knox special teams going into that play. They had people coming in late along the line of scrimmage, and then a bad snap by the center here botches the punt right away.
15-yard loss on the play.
Drew Geiger with the finishing hit that time for Marion. And the Knights are sitting pretty at the Redskin 27.
First time somebody's gotten the ball in the other team's territory tonight.
So now let's see how Brett Badek and his offense here for Marion decide to come out here and see if they try to go for a home run ball right away. They've got single coverage to the bottom of your screen with Jason Johnson, but Maddox Begonia Bright tripped up by Gabe Lovins at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's been a good matchup all night. Lovin's terrific defensive player, loves to hit.
He is a member of that Knox wrestling team. He gets his chance to do a lot of hitting there too. Jimtown hanging tough with Concord. They trail the Minutemen 23-15 in the fourth. 2nd and 11. Anderson flanking Begonia Bright, who wants to pitch it out to Malcolm Anderson, who's got running room. Gets a block from Atkinson, cuts inside and goes down at the 11. First down sponsored by CB Custom Painting. And the Knights are on the move thanks to the running of Malcolm Anderson.
Chuck, one of the things I've noticed about Anderson here tonight is that he loves going north and south. Now, a lot of guys might have cut to the outside there. He turns it right back up inside and maximizes what the play was going to give him.
Matt Kowalski running our field camera down there tonight. And a timeout taken by Marion here with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. We'll take it as well. The Knights trying to build on a 14-6 lead here on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technology, saluting the players, coaches, and all the team members who work so hard to be successful. At IFT, we put our team to work for you, setting the standard for metal finishing solutions. Reach us at IFTworldwide.com. Like the teams in this game, we're working for a great finish. 9 minutes to go, third quarter. Marion knocking at the door. They've got it 1st and 10 at the Knox 11-yard line, leading 14-6. A dandy brewing in Elkhart where the Lions and Mishawaka are tied 21-21 in the fourth.
Just what Mishawaka wanted, another close game, right?
So we've got an official's timeout for some reason. What it is, we're not sure.
Oh, they just pointed up here and said, read the... do the read about Teachers Credit Union. Well, we'll do that in a minute. Here's
1st and 10. And again, Begonia Bright looking over to the sideline. Brett Badek okays the play that he sent in. Begonia Bright gives it to Anderson. He ran it in once on this play. He'll do it again. Same play that Marion ran for the 37-yard touchdown. They give it to Anderson for an 11-yard run and expand the lead to 20-6. Again, really good blocking up front by Tommy Burke and Mitchell Menting. Tommy Burke not afraid to stick his head into anything. Race car driver, rugby player, and pretty good offensive lineman.
Well, when a team makes a mistake like the botched punt by Knox, you take advantage, and Marion certainly did.
Alec Markley's extra point is up and good, and Marion raises the margin to 21-6.
Take the Knights long. They went 27 yards in 2 plays. Nice pass play and then a good run. And they're on the board again. And it gives us a chance to tell you about Teachers Credit. You know, TCU understands the importance of growing your future, whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your businesses. TCU is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit TCUnet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they are an equal housing opportunity lender.
I don't know if Bo Hunt has finished off his Bonnie Doon burger from earlier, but I want to ask him about the running of Malcolm Anderson, because Anderson looks like he's bulked up a little bit since we saw him last year, Bo, and he just seems to have a little more explosiveness this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the biggest things is they don't have to rely on him so much this year. They got other guys that you have to be aware of, which really opens it up, and it allows him to use that burst to get through as well. But, yeah, I agree. It looks like he's definitely bulked up a little bit and he's got a little bit faster.
Bo, I wanted to ask you something about the fact that he loves to run north and south. That was one of your trademarks, and you get close to the goal line going a straight line, right?
Yeah, that was a great job right there on that last play. As soon as he saw the hole, he hit straight for the goal line. And as soon as you see that hole, bust up full speed at that point and make them come to you. Don't try to slow down and try to get through that hole. As soon as you see it, get through it, north and south.
So we'll see on the kickoff what happened and why this got blown dead. It is an offsides call against the Marion Knights, and watch closely there along the line. Right there past the 40-yard line, you see one of the Knights, and that was pretty blatant by about a yard, so the officials blow that down. And Marion will have to kick off from the 35.
Second penalty of the night against the Marion Knights. Playing a pretty clean game tonight.
Northridge now with a 28-0 lead on St. Joe in the third. John Glenn has narrowed the margin over Jackson Field, trailing Riley 14-10 in the third.
I think we've got the Glenn Falcons later this season.
Well, we definitely have the Riley Wildcats next week on TV 46, taking on a John Adams team that's up now 30-0 in the second quarter on Woodland.
See, how many points has Adams given up this year?
That would be a big goose egg so far.
Egg.
What a turnaround that's been.
Exactly right.
So Alec Markley will try again to kick it off. And this time he drills it all the way back to the 2-yard line where Gunnar Wagner will pick it up. Wagner all the way up the field to the 24. So very good kick that time by Markley to pin Knox back fairly deep into its own territory.
The TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you by Vorpal Gaming in Knox. Go Redskins from Vorpal Gaming. They're your local hobby game store and your stop for Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, and Kings of War. Yeah. Best wishes to the Redskins from Vorpal Gaming.
Another score to pass along. Kokomo leading Plymouth 14-12 in the third down in Kokomo. High snap again, this time the handoff to Gunnar Wagner, and Wagner able to pick up about 4 yards on the play before he's pushed back by that Marion defense. Stefano Setti leading the charge that time from the linebacker position.
49 yards now for Wagner on the night, and 45 yards for Short. And pretty outstanding night with 66 yards for the quarterback, Zach Rose.
It's a final now. Tippecanoe Valley has defeated Northfield 16-10. The Vikings now 1-1 on the year. Here, 21-6. Marion on top of Knox in a rematch of last year's regional in Class 3A up north. Zach Rose will hand it off. Cade Short with a nice cut. Short weaving his way through traffic. Look at him go. All the way down to the Marion 45 and a first down, and that was a terrific run by Cade Short.
28 yards and another first down.
This play looked like he was going to be dead to rights after a pickup of maybe 1 or 2, but he gets right by Gavin Stefanik. He also was able to cut inside of Gabe Kerr, and the next thing you know, he's off to the races, and only Caleb Lusanga was able to get in his way, and it's Lusanga who's down on the far sideline.
We want to thank St. Andrews Products for helping our crew look good tonight and all season. They're ready to do the same for your team. Reach them at sales@standrewsproducts.com. With all the top lines in apparel, business gifts, and advertising specialties, they're ready to help your school or company at St. Andrews Products. The answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
A reminder, next week on TV 46, it's more high school football. We head over to Jackson Field. We haven't done a game there in about 4 or 5 years, but we will get a chance to see an old-fashioned city rivalry, East Side versus South Side. John Adams, we just got done talking about Antoine Jones's team. Very impressive in the opener against Washington. They're beating an overmatched Woodland team tonight. They'll be 2-0 going into that one. Can Riley hang on tonight against Glenn, go to 1-1, get Justin Kinsey's first win of his career? We'll find out, and we'll show you this city rivalry next Friday night 11 and Saturday morning at 9 on your home for high school sports. TV 46, you'll also be able to watch it live next Friday night on Facebook, YouTube, and the IHSA Champions Network.
Yeah, we just mentioned St. Andrews Products. Want to tell you that they've got a Labor Day PPE sale. That's personal protection equipment. Labor Day PPE sale. Low minimums, low prices. And you can go on their website at sales at standrewsproducts.com and get more information. But a big Labor Day sale at St. Andrews Products.
Elkhart has now taken a 27-21 lead on Mishawaka with 6:54 to go in that game. As you saw Lusanga limp off, that's a blow for Marion because he's a two-way performer for the Knights. 1st and 10 for Knox at the Marion 46. Gunnar Wagner on the handoff. Has Braxton Geller blocking in front. Finally, Stefano Sete able to come over and make the stop after a pickup of 4.
Boy, Chuck, the more they run their offense tonight, the more they remind you of the New Prairie Cougars the last 8 or 10 years, and doing a good job with it.
Sete working on both sides of the ball tonight as a offensive lineman. He normally wears 34 and plays in the backfield, but they needed him on the line with a couple players out tonight, and so he steps up.
Knox nearing 200 yards total rushing tonight.
And it's Rose going right up the middle this time, and Sete able to make the stop there at the 38-yard line. But Knox having efficiency with this Russ Radke running attack that he's been running for only about 44 years.
You know, they're eating up some clock again here in the third quarter, which is okay if they can score and make it maybe a one-score game.
Try to force a turnover, make a big play happen. 3rd and 2. Definitely 4-down territory here for the Skins. Double tights in tight. Wagner behind blockers, 1st down and more. Atkinson gets him down at the 32-yard line, but another 1st down for the Redskins.
Nice 6-yard carry that time. And Chuck, they are being very methodical, but also very successful.
Look at all the pulling linemen that time for Knox. Bussey and Chris Powell, the guard and center combination coming out along with Braxton Geller, and that gave a lot of bodies in white jerseys in front of Gunnar Wagner that time.
I'm thinking maybe a 6'5" receiver might be put into action here.
He is down here to the left of the screen, but Rose kept it himself and was lucky to hang on to it because the Marion defense came with a vengeance that time. Sete is having a huge second half.
Rose now with 57 yards rushing after a couple of sacks.
It'll be 2nd and 11 for Knox here. Rose has not thrown a pass in the second half. This would kind of look like a situation where he might go to the air, but Knox has been so efficient running this option offense that we'll see what happens here. Plenty of time on the play clock.
2nd down 11, you're not exactly behind the chains, but it's not a real good situation.
Short in motion, play action pass. Rose over the middle, off the hands of Geller and almost intercepted.
Good coverage by the Knights.
Braxton Geller couldn't hang on to it, and then it was almost picked by Jason Johnson, who you met at halftime in our TCU student-athlete feature. Boy, Rose throws a very nice ball.
Some good heat on it, but the Marion defense was there. Folks, the TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Jack and Diane's USA Cafe across from the courthouse in Knox. Go Redskins from the folks at Jack and Diane's. Check out 50-cent Taco Tuesday, Wednesday Wings and Shrimp, and all-you-can-eat fish on Fridays at Jack and Diane's USA Cafe.
3rd and 11. They run a play action like McIntyre and a nice throw to Braxton Geller, who gets the 1st down. He's tackled that time by Brady Hoskins, but it's Geller with his 2nd grab of the night, and the drive continues for Knox all the way down to the Marion 17.
Rose's pass complete to Braxton Geller.
Boy, I like the way Rose throws that ball, though. Nice over-the-top delivery. You can tell he's a baseball pitcher.
17 yards on that completion. 5 out of 9 now as he nears 100 yards.
1st and 10. Again, double tights. It's Wagner off the right side. Wagner tried to run over one player, but Stefano Sete is there to set him down after a pickup of maybe a yard.
Your proud sponsor, Weaver Consultants Group, located in Granger, Indiana, wants to wish the Marion Knights good luck tonight. Check out Weaver Consultants Group on the web at WCORP, that's WCorp.com, to see how they can identify solutions to help you achieve your business needs.
Jimtown continues its comeback attempt against Concord. The Jimmies down 23-21 in the 4th.
So he's a barn burner over there.
That Cable Line Cup, 60th straight year they've been playing it. And Rose wants a timeout here with 4:20 left in the 3rd. Marion has a 21-6 lead, but the Redskins are threatening here in the 3rd to make it a game again here on 46. Friends, this edition of the 46 Game of the Week brought to us in part by Intera Credit Union. We get it because we live here too.
Great to have them alongside. What a great teammate they've been this year. We appreciate that very much. All of our sponsors help bring you high school football. You know, a big question a couple of weeks ago where you were going to play, and here we are in week 2 and looking forward to next week over at Jackson Field.
Churubusco has defeated Lakeland tonight 43-0. Penn now on top of LaPorte 35-0 in the 4th. And let's see, Michigan City was still with a 28-14 lead on Warsaw. That game now in the 3rd. Kingsman bouncing back after that heartbreaking loss to Valparaiso last Saturday on a last-second field goal by the Vikings' Liam Shepard.
After the timeout.
Here it's 21-6, Marion on top of Knox. 4:20 to go, 3rd quarter, and a 2nd and 10 for the visiting Redskins down at the Marion 17-yard line.
See if Michael Davidson comes up with anything special here.
Out of double tights, it's Rose off to his left. Rose breaking some tackles and takes it on up to just shy of the 10-yard line. Nice 7-yard pickup for the Knox signal caller.
Big, strong young man, good runner. 62 yards on the night. They've got 73 yards out of Short tonight and 59 yards out of Wagner.
I've really been impressed in getting to know Zach Rose a little bit this week with the maturity that he's been able to show.
I believe he's going to be on the basketball floor this winter and then loves baseball.
And he handed it off to Gunnar Wagner, who had to do everything he could to get that ball inside the 10 to the 9. Jason Johnson on the tackle. And here's Knox again with a 4th down in the red zone. This time inside the 10 all the way to the 9. 4th and 2. Can the Marion defense come up with yet another stand right here?
Well, this drive started, Chuck, with 8:54. So nearly they're heading toward another 6-minute drive. Got to get some points coming out of this.
Russ Radke, 44th year head coach, first year at Knox, looking on from the sidelines. Short in motion, Rose up the middle, got the first down inside the 10 to the 6. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Redskins from there.
Gain of 3 yards.
An impressive march by the Knox Redskins. This was the strategy coming in to try to limit Marion's possessions, and they're doing it very well right here.
This will be the 12th play of this drive.
Gavin Stefanik had the tackle that time for the Knights. Wagner the lone back behind Rose. Rose gives it to Wagner. Wagner to the end zone. Touchdown, Knox. Gunnar Wagner with his first touchdown of the year, and the Redskins are right back in it. You got to think that Russ Radke will go for 2 here. You You get another look from Aegis Dental Group. The pulling Chris Powell was able to take it on in from the score. He's playing guard tonight with Declan Austin in there at center.
And Knox lines up for the
12 plays, 6 minutes and 19 seconds on that scoring drive as they took the ball from their own 24.
Big conversion attempt here for Knox. Rose keeps it himself, bangs into bodies. Did he get there? No, he did not. The Marion defense able to hold right there and deny the two-point conversion and keep the score 21-12.
Well, you gave the ball to your best athlete, your best runner, and he just couldn't get in there. Give credit to Marion. I think maybe they read the mail a little bit there and had a good setup. And folks, want to tell you that for more than 50 years, Holy Cross College has educated modern-day scholars, citizens, leaders, and disciples. Through our individually focused contemporary liberal arts curriculum, your experience at Holy Cross College, along with access to our tri-campus community in Notre Dame, Indiana, will lead you to a meaningful and successful life personally, spiritually, and professionally. That's Holy Cross College.
Russ Radke looking on, really needed that two-point conversion, didn't get it, but talk about the success, and we showed you earlier the win totals. 1997 3A state champ at Griffith. He has won 19 sectionals, 4 regionals, and 3 semi-states. But Mike Davidson mentioned this earlier this week when I was at Marion practice. To a man, it seems like Russ Radke's kids are loyal to him. You don't hear any of his players ever say a bad word about him.
Well, the same thing, we heard that from people at New Prairie, including a couple of my nephews who said, hey, all the guy wants to do is have you be your best, and they're willing to buy in.
Greg Atkinson, bouncing ball at the 11. Atkinson hits a seam. Lost the football. But Marion recovers at the 34-yard line. Wow, a lot of action on that kickoff return.
It sure was. That's what Knox really needed was a turnover. They've had one in their favor so far tonight.
Those are the kinds of exciting plays you would miss if you no longer had special teams in football. The kicker, Wairenga, was the one who was able to strip it, but then Atkinson managed to get back on the football, and there's a Marion player down on the field.
Well, while we check on that, we'll tell you the TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you by Patrick Auto Group. Have a great season, Redskins. Buy here, pay here. Buying, servicing, and detailing. Check out Patrick Auto Group or Facebook. They're on US 35 North, just outside of Knox, and one of our great sponsors tonight, Chuck.
Bo, I know you were a kickoff returner on special teams. What's the art of that?
Catch it and run as fast as you can.
But pretty much the line Alan Pinkett always used to use on the radio broadcast for Notre Dame is you're crashing a toll booth at 90.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that people see or young kids do is they start to slow down and try to find the hole. On special teams, you almost got to, as soon as you catch it, look for the hole, look for just a little bit of a seam, and you got to almost go full speed right from the start. Because if you go slow, you allow everybody to get down the field. So you really got to almost start in a direction and then quickly change that direction and full speed the other way.
All right, that's our Bills Heating Sideline Report from Bo Hunt, the Indiana Football Hall of Famer. Wawasee beats West Noble tonight, 31-0. Here on 1st and 10, Maddox Begonia Bright, pump fakes going deep. He overthrew his man. Oh, he had Kyle Franklin behind everybody in the Knox secondary.
7 out of 12 on the night now for Begonia Bright, 72 yards. Chuck, it's amazing, at halftime I was counting the plays because the time difference was so extreme, and Knox had 34 plays in the first half, Marion had 23. Now after the 12-play drive, the number is 50 for Knox and 26 for Marion as they scored on a 2-play drive.
Tell you, Bremen beat Washington tonight, 41-6, so the Lions are 2-0 with 2 wins over South Bend Schools. Here's Maddox Begonia Bright on the keeper. Maddox Begonia Bright with a first down, sponsored by CB Custom Painting. Cody Wairenga able to force him out of bounds, but we've got a flag on the play. We'll see what this is all about.
Marion moving backwards. Looked like it might be a hold. Speaking of holding, did you see Bo at halftime, Chuck? The original Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way in Mishawaka has all your favorites. Stop by this weekend for a delicious Bonnie Burger, fries, and shake. For over 82 years, Bonnie Doon has been part of our community. Great food and rich, creamy ice cream. Make Bonnie Doon's a favorite for your cool treats. Open yet this year until November 1st. Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way in Mishawaka.
Can't go wrong at Bonnie Doon with anything. So holding called against Marion, but it was down by the first down marker. So basically this is a replay of the first and 10 call, or second and 10 call, excuse me.
Third penalty of the night against Marion.
Little pass here to Greg Atkinson, and Atkinson still on his feet to the 39 before he's slammed to terra firma by Gunnar Wagner. And Atkinson a little slow to get up after that one.
Take a pretty good slamming.
We've got a flag down on the field. And let's see what this is. Another holding call against Marion, and that'll cost the Knights.
Well, it's not too much that'll get a head coach upset than mistakes when you're moving the ball. Marion was hoping to have maybe a 6-minute drive of their own, but they're going backwards now, and can be second down and long.
Got a final from Andrews Field. East Noble has beaten Northwood 15-14. Oh. Tough way to start the season for Nate Andrews and company. Maddox Begonia Bright on the quarterback keeper. Gets a couple of blocks, jitterbugs his way around, and gets to the 35-yard line. That's where he's brought down by Hayden Binkley, the sophomore defensive tackle.
64 yards rushing for Begonia Bright, and that includes 3 sacks on the night, Chuck. So he's overcome that negative yardage, and of course, the big run that he had in the first half bumped those stats up. I guess anytime you go 63 yards for a touchdown, it's pretty good numbers.
Marion with a workable 3rd and 9 here. 4 receivers spread out, twins to each side. Begonia Bright drops back, fires in the flat. Davion Taylor with the catch for the first down. Sponsored by CB Custom Painting. Davion Taylor is off to the races, and they're not going to get him. That's a Marion touchdown. 65 yards, no flags.
Well, they used up all their flags a minute ago, Chuck.
This is the kind of explosiveness that makes Marion the number 2 team in 3A. 1 broken tackle there, and then a pretty good block on the outside, and 1 more broken tackle, and that's all Taylor needed.
137 yards now passing on the night for Begonia Bright. Another big play for the Marion Knights.
Alec Markley on to try the extra point out of the hold of Jason Johnson. Snap a little high, the kick is too, and it is good. And with 53.9 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter, Marion ups the ante to 28-12. As you get another look at this one, just a simple little pass out into the flat. Didn't look like much, but Taylor makes it look like gold.
Still a lot of time left in this game, but man, up and down the field for the Marion Knights on big plays. And Knox has had a couple of good drives. They did score in the last one, but missed the 2-point conversion. But Russ Radke's guys will be right back out there trying to put together another drive. And we've had a real blessing here with a great ball game tonight.
I think it was Kyrell Franklin that threw the block on the far sideline there that helped spring.
Great team unity on this Marion Knight squad. I want to tell you that CB Custom Painting is proud sponsor of Marion football and would like to wish the team good luck in all season long. Special shout out goes to number 13, Maddox Begonia Bright. They say go Knights. And boy, Maddox Begonia is delivered tonight for the Marion Knights.
Concord and Jimtown are headed to overtime on the banks of the Bogo, tied at 23.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Elkhart with a 35-28 lead on Mishawaka with 2 minutes to go in that one.
Be a real tough start for the Mishawaka Cavemen, but that's a good program and a good team. They got an excellent quarterback, too.
Alec Markley to do the kickoff. High spinner. It looks like Wagner from the 5. Ooh, what a collision up there at the 29-yard line. Holy smokes. Gavin Stefanik, I believe, was the man with the hit. You'll get another look here from the Aegis Dental Group, which may be called into action here, because that was a tooth rattler. Ooh, Setefano Sete with the shoulder.
Wow. They're popping them here tonight.
Oof.
Sets up Knox, 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
Last play maybe of the third quarter. Well, probably a couple more.
Setefano hasn't probably had a collision like that since trying to get some food from the dinner table.
You got to be competitive in that household.
49 seconds left in the third. It's McIntyre in motion, but Rose will keep it himself and backpedals his way for about 5 yards. So Knox still coming at Marion with everything they've got on this option attack.
Sets up 2nd down and 6 for Knox.
And there's only about a 1.5 second difference between the play clock and the game clock, as you see in the lower right-hand corner of the Intera Credit Union scoreboard.
And we just saw a flag pop up from the backfield. I'm not sure. It looked like Knox might have had 12 guys in the huddle. And that's the first penalty on Knox in this half. They hit.
Well, it's an unsportsmanlike conduct on Knox. There was some chirping going on down there on the field, and I think that's what the official is going to come over and talk about with Russ Radke right now.
TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Listing Leaders Integrity in Knox. Go Redskins from the great team at Listing Leaders Integrity. Whether you're buying or selling, contact Listing Leaders Integrity at 772-LIST. 772-LIST. Listing Leaders Integrity, changing real estate forever.
So the 15-yard mark off here against Knox will push the Redskins back to the 18-yard line and set them up with a 2nd and 21. Meanwhile, checking the feed for some other scores, as Adams has the running clock going against Woodland. They're up 37-0. Northridge with a 35-0 lead on St. Joe. That game is now in the 4th.
Not going to happen here, partner. The
After the penalty, it
game is
2nd
being
down
well played,
and
but
21
boy, a
for
tough
Knox.
situation for Knox here to get a
At the
penalty.
Well, Knox does not have to run another play here in the third quarter, and it doesn't appear that they will, as the coach is coming out to talk with the players and perhaps settle down some of the emotions, because those emotions have been high here at Atulski Field tonight. And why not? Two really good teams in 3A battling it out. But Marion leads the Knox Redskins 28-12 after 3 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Jordan Automotive Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. It's been a much more stress-free night on the sidelines for Bo Hunt this week as he joins us for our Bills Heating Sideline Report. And Bo, as we look at the crowd from Knox, looking at this Marion team, Marion looks like they'll go 2-0 this year should they hang on to this one. But playing in the NIC North, they're going to face a different kind of animal later in the season, aren't they?
That's exactly right. But I think they had a big test last week against Mishawaka. Even though Mishawaka's gone on to the NLC, it's still a former NIC opponent that was one of the top guys in the North. So I think they had a good taste of it that first week of what it's going to be like. And you've read the scores tonight so far with Elkhart and Mishawaka as well. So it's going to be a tough ride in that North, but I think they're up for the challenge this year. They have the things, the right pieces in the right places, and they just got to finish this one off here tonight too, because it's still only a 2-score game, guys.
And Zach Ross wants to try to hit his man Cole McIntyre. Again, McIntyre battling with Greg Atkinson out there, and Atkinson able to break up that pass, but the ball was slightly underthrown, and McIntyre had to play more like a defensive back that time. Here's the look from the Aegis Dental Group.
Partner, we're talking about how they should be going to the big man. Marion's thinking the same thing. That's a big play guy.
And Marion's put their best cornerback on him, and Atkinson was up to the task that time. Got a final from LaPorte as Penn has now defeated the LaPorte Slicers 35-14. So Corey Yeoman gets win number 1 of the year.
You know, part of what you guys were saying about Marion and their tough schedule, a lot of teams are going to play down the road 6A, 5A, and that's going to make a difference. And Michael Davidson, like any 3A coach, is going to tell you that we need to stay healthy, because once you get into the tournament, where Marion knocked off Knox last year, you got to be healthy.
They're going to the 4th over at Clay Field. Goshen leading Clay 43-6 as Knox just picked up a delay of game penalty here, and that'll force them into a 3rd and 26 situation. Northridge now up 42-0 on St. Joe in the 4th as they go to Braxton Geller here, and Geller knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line, well short of the first down marker, and it'll be a punting situation here for Knox.
Jason Johnson with the hit for the Knights.
Boy, there's another big knock right there by Jason Johnson. Man, there. Aegis Dental Group might have some of these guys in there tomorrow morning tightening up some teeth.
So Keenan Collins on to try the punt here. Remember, a botched snap early in the 3rd quarter set Marion up for its 3rd touchdown. Clean snap this time, and Collins gets one off that Greg Atkinson will let hit and go out of bounds. Past the 43, all the way back to the 42-yard line. That's where Marion will take over with 10:51 to go.
The TV 46 High School Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Rabbit Coffee Roasting, who appreciates the community support they've received and wishes a great season for the Knox Redskins. Stop by for great fresh roasted coffee. They've got lattes, mocha, and this has been verified, by the way. We've done some research. The best sugar cookies in town, and those are the folks at Rabbit Coffee Roasting.
Couple of other scores to pass along. Michigan City on top of Warsaw, 35-21. That's in the 4th. John Glenn now leads Riley 24-14 at Jackson Field. And it's a final now. Concord has beaten Jimtown 29-23 in overtime to win the Cable Line Cup. That all-time series is now Concord 30 wins, Jimtown 30 wins.
Wow.
So we'll keep it right here with 10:51 to go. And we'll look ahead for both of these teams. It's what's coming up. Remember, Knox in peril of falling to 0-2 here, but their schedule was completely rearranged because of COVID. So instead of playing Winnemac and Rochester, 2 teams that they would have been heavy favorites again, they played Southwood and Marion, 2 really good teams. They'll go with Culver next week at Community Field. Then the huge rivalry game with North Judson. And then what could be a pretty tough game with John Glenn. Glenn wins tonight. They're 2-0 for the first time since 1990.
Wow. And, of course, Russ Stradke has a little history with North Judson as well. That's where
absolutely
he got his career going.
That Marion-Bremen game could be very interesting next week here at Atulski Field because both those teams will be 2-0. Then Marion has New Prairie coming in here with the new coach and Casey McKim. That's always been a good rivalry. And Adams is looking good so far. Now, they played Washington and Woodland, which isn't exactly, powerful, but Antoine Jones' team, we saw them last week, Bob. They've got some athletes.
That was an impressive performance last week, doing it again this week. And happy for those kids. They took a beating last year, but got it going.
Malcolm Anderson delivers a blow here as he goes up to the 45. First down sponsored by CB Custom Painting. And Anderson's had himself a pretty good night running the football.
13 yards on that gain and a first down. And Malcolm Anderson now with 76 yards rushing. Both teams have shown really good balance. 137 yards passing for Marion. Begonia was 64 yards rushing. And Anderson was 76 yards rushing and getting it done.
So Begonia, another 200-yard plus night of total offense. Davian Taylor not getting away this time. He stopped at the line of scrimmage by Zach Rose, and that'll set up a 2nd and 10.
It goes as a completion, though. 9 out of 14 now for Begonia for 139 yards.
Last week against Mishawaka, Begonia Bright had 364 yards of total offense. So Knox, by running its ball control offense, has been able to keep the ball out of his hands, keep him in check somewhat. But the big plays for Marion have been difference makers tonight.
They really have. And again, there's going to be some success out of this game for Russ Radke, and that time of possession is a big part of it.
Good defense there against Begonia Bright. Keenan Collins comes over to make the hit along with Jesse Clemens. And the defensive line getting one of its best penetrations of the night against Marion.
That's a hit as a head coach. You don't necessarily want your quarterback taking a beating like that. 3 guys, high load him.
Begonia Bright's a tough kid, but he did get injured last year, and that caused him to miss the game with Knox in the regional. Gabe Kerr and Marion managed to get through that, and then Bishop Chittard had its way with Marion, but they had their way with a lot of people last year on their way to the state title. As Taylor can't hang on to that one, it'll be 4th down.
9 out of 15 now, 139 yards for Begonia Bright. I want to thank once again the folks from the Drive-In Theater tour that'll feature Michael W. Smith, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and Mike Powell. It's September 29th at the Melody Drive-In in Knox. Get your tickets. Go on the website at eventbrite.com. Eventbrite.com. And they sponsored our halftime report tonight. Great to have them with us. That'll be a great concert.
And we've got a timeout on the field taken by Marion with 9:06 to go. The Knights had some confusion getting the special teams out there, but that's about the only fly in the ointment tonight because Marion has looked impressive, and they lead Knox by 16 on 46. Hey friends, this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you by our friends at TCU. Grow your future. Visit TCUnet.com. Chuck, Bob, and Bo back at Atulski Field. 9:06 to go. Marion on top of Knox, 28-12, and Alec Markley lines up in punt formation for the Knights, with Cade Short awaiting his kick back at his own 10-yard line.
And Marion wasn't able to take a lot of time off the clock, and that'll be a concern for Mike Davidson in the coming week.
They want a clean snap here, and they get it. Markley gets it out of there, and this ball will just settle on down and be dead down at the 12-yard line. Kicks inside the 20. That's what those special teams coaches love, and they got one here from Markley.
Markley's kick travels 42 yards.
42 with no return, very effective.
Down to the Knox 12.
By the way, it's a final at Rice Field as Elkhart High School taking the field as a single high school for the first time since November 12th, 1971, beats Mishawaka by a final of 35-28. 2 heartbreaking losses for the Cavemen to start the season.
Well, got a good coach and a good system. They'll bounce back.
Meanwhile, on the carry, it's Cade Short, and Short upended after a pickup of 2, so that, which was going so well for Knox in the first half, has been adjusted to well by the Marion defense here in the second half.
Look, how about that crowd here at Marion High School? All separated. They have yellow banners on every other seat going up, and then they've got families sitting together, but everybody wearing a mask. We had our masks on during our pregame interviews. And everybody being cautious. That's the way to do it.
Zach Rose fires a bullet. It's in and out of the hands of Cole McIntyre. That's the first one we've seen one of the Knox receivers really juggle tonight. And it'll be 3rd down and 8. I guess there was one back in the first quarter that it looked like Geller had a shot at.
We've noticed they've been trying to go to Geller and their big man as well, but they have a dump off maybe for Short or Wagner. That'd be real effective if they could get them some space and get them going.
3rd and 8. Rose again wants to throw. Now he's going to scramble. Unloaded deep down the field, and McIntyre can't get to this one as Hoskins was with him every step of the way. 4th down, and the punting unit will come on for Knox. And the Marion defense has stiffened up here in the 4th quarter.
Knox now 6 out of 13 passing for the ball game. Christensen's Furniture is a local family-owned business serving Michiana since 1912. If you're looking for the perfect furniture for your home, Christensen's Furniture has everything you need for bedrooms, dining rooms, living rooms, home offices. And I'll tell you what, that is a big trend these days, people working from home. They can help you set up a home office. They have home theater, everything you need and more at Christensen's Furniture, where affordability meets style.
So here's the punt. Atkinson will let it hit, and then he's just going to get away from it. It'll roll dead at the 43-yard line. Boy, that's a really good punt by Keenan Collins that time. A 43-yard kick with no return.
I think, if you look at Knox coming out of the ball game, they're down 28-12 with 7 minutes to go, 8 minutes ago. But they've had some positives. I thought their special teams has had good returns, and they've had good distance on their punts, and they've kicked off well when they scored twice. Now, they did miss an extra point and then went for 2 and didn't get it. But, again, some positives on that bus ride back down to Knox, which is what, Chuck, about 51 minutes?
I'd say from here probably about an hour. Yeah, probably about a full hour from here.
We had a great visit down there this past week. Boy, I tell you what, the commitment they're making at Knox High School with the locker room facilities, weight room, they've got so much. Russ wants an artificial turf field put in about 50 yards long just to be able to work on all the teams that they played that have artificial turf.
But he also wants it to be able to be used by the softball and baseball teams. As you see, Begonia's pass was batted down and nearly intercepted that time. Hayden Binkley was the man who got a hand on it, and you'll see it again on the Aegis Dental Group replay.
Begonia now 9 out of 16 on the night. Still very effective, but boy, I think Mike Davidson would really love to have a time-consuming drive here. They haven't had too many of those tonight.
And that was one of the flaws he saw as Malcolm Anderson runs here and gets tripped up on a nice open field tackle by Reese Keaton. But Anderson able to pick up the 1st down up at the 44-yard line. It's sponsored by CB Custom Painting. And Malcolm Anderson continues his quest to try to get to the 100-yard mark tonight.
88 yards now for the ball game.
Anderson coming off a meniscus tear last year. Ran for 143 yards in the win over Jimtown last year that we had on TV 46.
He's got 84 yards and 10 carries, which helps me figure out that it's 8.4 yards a carry, which is about what Marion had in the first half.
Begonia Bright will hand it off again to Anderson. Pickup of about 2 or 3. Keenan Collins in on the stop that time. We've called his name a lot tonight. He's a 6'3" senior defensive end. A lot of seniors on this Knox team, but Russ is very pleased with how much talent there is, particularly in the sophomore and freshman classes.
And again, the commitment they've got to the young people. The middle school kids have a great facility to practice.
Yes, they do.
We watched them for a little bit, and the JVs and the freshmen. He's got some guys that need to come to my eating camp, but he's got kids that are really dedicated, want to be part of something special down there at Knox. They ask them to pay the price every day, and they're doing it.
2nd and 8, Begonia Bright getting around the outside. Then tried to cut back in, and there just wasn't any room there as Gunnar Wagner was there to make the stop.
Begonia with the keeper.
Begonia took a little extra heat there and a little extra contact, but he didn't want to go out of bounds. He wanted to keep the clock running. Heads up play there by Maddox.
You know who
Begonia
else likes that are the guys in the production truck.
Yeah, they do. And the guy who's got to take the tape back in time, but
Gain of 2 brings up
gain of
3rd
2
down
yards
and
for
6 for Marion.
Maddox Begonia.
Malcolm Anderson back in the game on this 3rd and 6 play. See if Marion keeps it on the ground here to try to drain a little more clock. Nope, play action pass. Begonia Bright throws, and it is caught. A nice grab by Jason Johnson. And the transfer from Washington, part of the Mishawaka Youth Leadership Academy, comes up with a really nice grab right here.
So a gain of about 19 yards on the play.
First down sponsored by CB Custom Painting. And a really good play by Johnson, the son of former Notre Dame wideout Jay Johnson.
Deserving winner of our Student Athlete Award for Marion tonight.
Absolutely. Malcolm Anderson up the middle, carrying tacklers with him as he goes down to about the 15-yard line. Inside the 15 to the 14.
Malcolm Anderson up the middle.
Boy, 98 yards now for the ball game.
Boy, Marion's got some weapons on this offense with Anderson, Taylor, Johnson. I mean, we haven't called Kyrell Franklin's name a lot tonight, but he had the game-winning 2-point conversion last week against Mishawaka. And a patchwork offensive line is held up very well tonight. Here's Anderson behind that offensive line, bowling over tacklers and getting down to the 2. First down sponsored by CB Custom Painting, and Malcolm Anderson has Marion knocking on the door of another score.
And that'll put him over the 100-yard mark for the ball game. He's got 109 yards rushing tonight. That's now on 13 carries.
That's a 205-pound running back right there, and he carries a load with him.
Give you an idea what that means. So Walter Payton was 5'9", 205.
It's Anderson trying to get to the end zone, but he did not get there. He's short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd and goal, and Marion can bleed a little more clock here.
Exactly. I think that's they wanted to get in the end zone, and they may on this play, but if they run a little bit more time off the clock, they're okay with it.
Begonia Bright will call out the signals from behind his offensive line.
Feel like they'd like to get the ball to Anderson. He's earned it on this drive.
Already with 2 touchdowns tonight. And he can make it 3 as he just walks into the end zone behind the big block of Trace Walter. Touchdown, Marion. Walter, that 6'5", 243-pound beast of an offensive lineman, just drove his man into the end zone, and so did Stefano Sete.
Marion spends about 4 minutes and 25 seconds on that drive, which is exactly what Michael Davidson was hoping for. Longest drive of the night for the Knights, because they scored on a couple of 2 or 3 play drives with some big plays in that first half.
Alec Barkley's extra point is up and good. And it's all smiles on the Marion sideline as they take a 35-12 lead with 3:45 to go.
Folks, want to thank the folks from CB Custom Painting. They're a proud sponsor of Marion football, and they'd like to wish the team good luck tonight and the rest of the season. And a special shout out goes to a guy that we'd like to give a special shout out to as well. That's Maddox Begonia Bright. They say go Knights, the team from CB Custom Painting.
So the Marion Knights will go to 2-0 on the year, and they'll have a battle of the unbeatens next week here at Atulski Field as they take on Bremen, team that looked very impressive in beating St. Joe and Washington, although again, it's early in the season and it's tough to evaluate competition so far, but neither one of those teams, St. Joe nor Washington, has shown a lot of offensive firepower so far this year.
Well, you keep learning, and the good news is everybody's qualified for the tournament. So you keep teaching, be patient, keep learning. Got a lot of great coaches in the area, do a good job of teaching.
Meanwhile, Michigan City expands its lead to 41-21 over Warsaw in the fourth. John Glenn hanging on to a 24-14 lead in the fourth at Riley. Alec Markley's kickoff is taken by Cade Short back at the 8. Short brings it back to about the 27, and that's where Knox will take over with 3:38 to go, hoping to get at least one more score on the board here.
Chuck, I know you mentioned that Michigan City score, and it sounds like the Wolves are going to have themselves a pretty good season, and we know their head coach has done a great job there. He was at Andrea, now he's at Michigan City, and they go over to Warsaw and plan on getting a win. They're going to get out of there with one.
Phil Mason has done a solid job wherever he's gone, and this is no different in his tenure with the Wolves. You take a look at Zach Rose handing that ball off to Gunnar Wagner. Good hole for Wagner, and he takes it up for about a 6 or 7 yard pickup that time.
Gunnar Wagner with the run for Knox.
Wagner now at 66 yards rushing tonight. 97 for Short. And pretty good night for Rose as well, as he has run for 60-plus yards, and that, again, overcoming about 25 yards in losses tonight.
2nd and 3 now for the Redskins. 3 minutes and counting here in the fourth. Hand off to another running back, new face in the game. That's Gunnar Kraus getting a carry. Kraus is primarily playing on defense tonight, but Russ Radke giving him a look here at running back, and he picks up about a yard. It'll set up a 3rd and 3, maybe 4.
3rd down and 3 for Knox.
Chuck, people are going to look at the score, and it's the Marion wins maybe 35-12. Yeah, that's what we expected, but boy, Knox made him earn it. Knox led 6-0 in that first half.
I really feel like that 2-point conversion play was a big momentum turner. If Knox gets that, pulls within 7, there's a whole different feel in this stadium at that time, as Gunnar Wagner gets the first down and more up to the 42-yard line and moves the chains here for Knox.
Gunnar Wagner with the 8-yard carry for Knox.
Not that Marion ever would have felt in danger necessarily, but it's a whole different feeling when you're up by 2 scores rather than 1.
And then that long drive in the first half with no points, that turned out to be a tough one for Knox. They were knocking on the door to, excuse me for that, but they're knocking on the door a couple times in this ball game where they didn't score. And, you just figure if they had been successful, and they might be more successful as the season moves on. But Marion had big defensive stops when they needed it. I thought Marion's special teams also was very good. Their punting was terrific. They made their extra points. Real solid performance from Mike Davidson's ball club.
Knox winds up taking a timeout here to talk about things with 1:38 to go.
With 1 minute and 38 seconds.
So, Bob, we now see Marion, and we talked to Bo about this. It's a different schedule this year for Marion. They moved from the NIC South to the NIC North. And I think it would be fair to say they play the bigger schools in the NIC North later in the year. To a certain extent, it's a little bit of a battle of survival for Marion, too, because they're going to be a force in the 3A playoffs if they can stay healthy.
If they can stay healthy, and, of course, they want to compete for the Northern Division title in the NIC. That would be a great honor for the Marion Knights. But, again, as you get late in the season, if you're playing at Penn High School, and Penn is a 6A team, if you got a couple of kids banged up, you might hold them out. But, obviously you're worried about Bremen next week, and then you worry about the other things going on. I think everybody, to a person, feels just really great that we're playing football this year, and people have been very cautious. And again, our salute to the athletic directors and the principals and the head coaches who are doing much more than coaching this year as they mind the health of all the athletes, cheerleaders, band members, everybody involved in athletics, and we're getting it done. And again, it's been a big challenge, but hats off to all the folks who are working so hard.
Got another final to pass along. South Central has now beaten Culver tonight, 28-24. There's jubilation in Union Mills tonight.
Wow.
Zach Rose, pump, throw, and nobody home. Well defended by the Marion secondary that time. He threw it in the general direction of Cade Short, who couldn't get there.
And there's a lot of pressure coming from that Marion rush as well. Chuck, I'm thinking that Knox did have some new players in that line tonight, and they're going to continue to evaluate and move people around. But, you know, we're late in the fourth quarter of a game that's been played in pretty good heat and humidity, and maybe some of those younger guys are maybe a little more tired here in the second half, but it's part of it, and this will be a good learning experience for the Redskins.
Conditioning check for both these teams tonight, and they've held up pretty well. We haven't seen a whole lot of cramping. They've been hydrated well. Couple of people had to limp off the field, but they seem to be okay as Wagner is able to get no gain on the plane, and we've got a flag on the play here. This is a holding call, or is it a face mask? It's a personal foul against Marion.
Personal foul against the Knights, as he called.
So that'll be 15 yards and a first down. Mentioned earlier, it was getting a little chirpy out there in the third quarter, and I think it's probably carried on now. It'll all be over in about a minute 19.
Both teams with Marion with 47 yards in penalties, Knox with 45. And yeah, there's been some popping and some pushing, and one thing about our Russ Radke coach team, they're not going to back down. They are going to earn their stripes, and the Marion player taken out of the game there and being told that he's not going to be able to go to Bonnie Doon tonight, although Bo will be there.
So 1st and 10 for the Skins as we tick down to a minute to go. Rose again throws over the middle. McIntyre can't hang on. Broken up nicely that time.
Rose's pass intended for
I think it might have been Hoskins who got a hand on it. It was. Another flag on the play here. And we'll see what this is. It's a holding call against Knox. By the way, our fourth quarter tonight brought to us by our friends at Christensen Furniture. We always appreciate their support of our broadcasts.
I'll tell you what, they've got some great items at Christensen's. Those entertainment centers are just absolutely awesome. But yeah, I was listening to the report today about how many people are working out of their homes. And a lot of times the company will say, okay, you need to get an office in your home, let us know what it costs, or we give you a certain budget. And so they've got home office equipment as well. We're in a different time, partner.
Yes, yes we are. 1st and 22 for the Skins. It's a handoff in the backfield, and Gunnar Kraus unable to take this one much further than 2 yards, and we'll probably have about one more play in this one, and it'll be over.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. We've seen the bright spots for both teams play well tonight, which is what we were hoping for. And again, talking to Russ Radke last week, Chuck, is saying a Class A team needs to have 4 or 5 difference makers. 2A needs to have 7 or 8, and 3A needs to have 13 or 14. And right now, he's got about 7 or 8, but he's got some guys that are on the bubble that are going to wind up being pretty good players.
First down by Gunnar Kraus, up to the 40. That'll stop the clock with 15.5 seconds left, and we'll see if Knox hurries up to try to get one more play, or we'll just call it a night. And it appears the Redskins will call it a night. A few socially distanced slaps of the hands out there, and that'll do it from Metulski Field. The second-ranked team in Class 3A runs its record to 2-0 on the year as the Marion Knights have defeated the Knox Redskins by a final score of 35-12. We're back with our postgame after this on 46.
For watching the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by
a big night for Malcolm Anderson of the Marion Knights as he runs for 109 yards on 14 carries, 3 touchdowns. And the Knights celebrate a 35-12 win over Knox tonight here at Metulski Field. Marion looking every bit as good as their number 2 ranking, mainly because that guy had a huge night.
He really did, Chuck. Over 100 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, just 14 carries, but he got in the end zone. He's a north and south guy, and high school coaches love that. And he's just a big, strong young man who's got a lot of potential to get a lot of looks coming up as he's going to put some significant numbers together on a very good football team, the second-ranked Marion Knights.
Really impressed with the strength that he is able to show, his added explosiveness this year. And he makes a really good compliment to their quarterback, Maddox Begonia Bright, who had a good night as well, accounting for over 200 yards of total offense.
And good leadership, and you talk about 200 yards of total offense for the quarterback on a night when they didn't have a whole lot of plays because other guys were scoring in a hurry. He scored from 63 yards out. So Marion, again, as you look at this game on paper beforehand, you say, well, Marion probably going to win maybe 35-12. But people that were here tonight and people watching the game tonight, including Bob Otalski, who the field is named after, he'll get a copy of this and he'll be watching his nights. But everybody who was here knows that Knox came and was very well represented tonight.
Well, yeah, as for this Knox team, I was impressed with the way Rose threw the ball. They obviously ran the option offense well. The difference was the ability or inability to finish down by the goal line.
Yeah, give credit to Marion for that as well. But I just, it's going to be fun to watch how this Knox team progresses as the season goes along. And we can say that about a lot of teams, including one that's going to be playing here next week, the Bremen Lions, off to a good start. But we're going to be at Jackson Field.
Yes, we will. Indeed, Bremen will face Marion here at Atulski Field, and Culver will visit Knox at Community Field. Our thanks to our TV46 crew. With a yeoman effort tonight to set up in the heat, Tony Beltran joining us inside the truck along with Tom Ward, Jed Dubik, and the usual cast of characters. A reminder that next Friday night there's more high school football for you with a South Bend City rivalry as the John Adams Eagles, now 2-0, take on the 0-2 Riley Wildcats at Jackson Field. We're on the air on Facebook, YouTube, and the IHSA Champions Network at 7, and you'll see it Friday night 11 and Saturday morning at 9 on your home for high school sports, TV 46. Now for my broadcast partners, the Hall of Famers Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final, Marion 35, Knox 12. So long from the Princess City.